Okay guys, welcome in, welcome in. We're gonna be starting our top 32 very shortly, but I'm very excited to get to introduce you again to our awesome co-caster this week, Nothing But Bangers. He's an awesome Pokemon content creator. He does YouTube videos over on Nothing But Bangers on YouTube. He also streams here on Twitch, and he puts out a lot of great content for Pocket. We had a lot of fun with him last week, or a couple weeks ago, when he helped cast, I think it was number 11. So we are so excited to have you back, Bangers. Would you like to introduce yourself a bit? Your mic seems to be having a little bit of an issue. I'm unmuted on Discord. Having a small mic issue. One second.
Okay, let me try.
Perfect. Yeah, a lot better. Oh, it cut out again. I don't know what's happening.
Oh no.
Oh, it's back again? I don't know.
Is it good now?
Yeah, we're good right now.
Okay. Well, hey, sorry about that. Yeah, it's MBB, aka Nothing But Bangers, aka Bangers. I'm here with Ursi, co-casting, the largest Pokemon Pocket tournament this weekend. Really excited. Thank you so much for bringing me back. Hopefully the audio is good to go. Sometimes my mic gets a little wonky, but outside of that, I'm excited for this top 32.
Yeah, me too. The Pokemon this week look absolutely insane. We're in the last week of Mystical Island, but the diversity at the end of this set is crazy. There's not even a single repeated archetype in the top 8. Like, insane.
Yeah, I did a little bit of a breakdown on the top 32, and a lot of people have been kind of saying, hey, we're still seeing a lot of genetic apex Pokemon dominating, but in this top cut, the two most popular decks are actually a version of Executor and Celebi and Superior, and then there's a tie for the second most popular deck with Gyarados Greninja and Pikachu Zebstrika.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, it's actually crazy. In top 32 week 1, we didn't have a single Celebi. And now, like you're saying, it's one of the most popular this set. And then you said the other one is Zebstrika.
Yeah, and there's a couple other Pikachu variants. So I mean, if you wanted to lump those in, the two most popular deck types, I guess, would be Electric along with Executor, Celebi, Superior. So we've got a little bit of old, but we've also got a little bit of new.
That is so exciting. I mean, it is so cool to see these Mystical Island Pokemon really make their mark on the meta of this set. I said week 1 Mystical Island, give them time to get the deck list correct. We have to figure out exactly what they need to run, what's going to be in the deck, what cards are actually strong. And I think this is kind of proving it, just like you're saying. And even Zebstrika is running like those Electabuzzes now. I think there's a couple with Garvantula. Really interesting to see what they're deciding to put into these decks. And we have the new set just around the corner, which is going to make it even more interesting very shortly.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last big major tournament that you're going to see in this meta. Next weekend, we're going to have an influx of new cards. We've already seen the trailer. A lot of people are pretty excited about some of those cards. And, the big thing to take away is with Mythical Island, we didn't even see Gyarados in any of the trailers. So, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I think there are some very interesting cards with the new trailer, especially that Dialga that seems to be able to attach energy to any Pokemon instead of just its own type. But I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more cards that have not been revealed at all. So.
Oh yeah, you know that they've withheld some of the bangers from the set, and there's going to be some changes, whenever we see these cards released into the meta. I think there was even like a little discrepancy in one of the trailers, like a Murkrow had one, or Honchkrow had one retreat in one of the trailers, and then in another language it had two retreats. So
Oh
you never
wow.
know what they might, have cooking in the background.
Hmm.
And I mean, like you say, it's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see what people bring and cook the next week. But one more time, we're going to rock this format with Genetic Apex and Mythical Islands.
Yeah, this is gonna be the last Mystical Island Ursiiday Pokemon Pocket tournament. So let's see what we can find. Our top 32 is just getting started. They're getting into their games, but what of the matchups would you like to see today?
Well, I know a lot of people have been talking about this Starmie EX and Luminion deck.
Mm-hmm.
Would definitely love to check this out. I hope that person is is ready to be on the spotlight if that's where we go. But I would love to see that deck. I know Jeff Hooglin put that deck out there on YouTube, and in the past week, I believe, and since then, been some people cooking with it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that one. Is there any other interesting ones that you would like to watch as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, somebody got in the kitchen and said, "Hey, hear me out. What if we throw Hitmonlee in my Mewtwo deck?" And they
Mm-hmm.
happen to go X1 and they made the top cut. So at some point, I hope we get to see that because I mean, are they really playing fighting energy in that Mewtwo deck? I mean, that's insane.
That would be absolutely insane. Let's see who we have available for us here. Quickly checking the channels. Um, 1 second. Let me just double check that everybody sees that it can go. Why don't we watch the Mewtwo first? It's going to be in channel 14. And we can go on and get set up in there so that we'll be able to watch when they start.
All right, let's jump in.
Perfect.
Checking audio, everything good on that end?
Yep, audio is still good over here. We're just going to let them get started. I'll go in and prep our page so that when they do, we can watch it. But what do you think about... well, Hitmonlee requires fighting energy, so they have to be running fire energy, right?
Honestly, it looks extremely situational.
Mm-hmm.
However, you are addressing arguably the worst matchup that your deck has. And it's even if it's a very low percentage, at least you're giving yourself a shot to actually even up that matchup a little bit by preventing that Gyarados from coming out. But looks like we've got maybe the game ready to go. And hey, hopefully we see Hitmonlee at least make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, I would love that. Let me double check who they're against. I forgot to check that out. Yeah, so they are against Aerodactyl, so I wonder if they'll even be running the fighting energy this time. In our tournament, we don't require people to announce what energies they have in their deck, so we could change it between games if needed. So we'll have to see here. I am just getting up the game.
Oh yeah, looks like we are seeing a Hitmonlee early, but it's on the other side of
Oh
the
no.
board. So a little bit of a Hitmonlee opener with a Fossil on the bench. I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing that we're live, and yeah,
Yep.
let's get this show rolling.
We are up and live now, just like you're saying. I I'm interested to see where they decide to put energy on Wannabe's side. I think it's really going to be telling on whether or not they have the Aerodactyl ready. Because I don't feel like you're going to want... Oh, we do have the fighting energy right now, actually, in this game. Because it's for the next turn.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it on the bottom right now. Yeah, it's almost like hiding there, blending in.
Yeah, for sure. We can start that Mewtwo, which is going to have a pretty nice type advantage into that Hitmonlee if we can find Giovanni. Would be a one-hit KO into the Hitmonlee. I am interested to see, as I said, where they put this energy, though, because we could start swinging into Mew and put it closer to being in range of being one-shot by an Aerodactyl. But it's going to go on the old Amber, which tells me they have the Aerodactyl in hand.
Yeah, that's definitely what they're cooking with. One of the things that I look for in this matchup is how early Mew EX makes an appearance
Mm-hmm.
because Mew EX is a little bit of a curveball for these fighting decks. It doesn't have a big energy requirement to just start chipping away at things, but Aerodactyl can definitely just put Mew on a clock, and all of a sudden, that Mewtwo player is feeling a lot of pressure. And looking at the deck list, by the way, if you haven't checked out this Aerodactyl list, I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, it is playing a Pidgeot engine as well.
Uh, yeah. This one is the one running the Pidgeot. That's really interesting to me as well. Just like you're saying, it sadly is not Pidgeot EX, who's my favorite EX of MI, but it'll be counting as like a free Sabrina if we can get it up and running. And also, what it swings for 70, 60, which is not
Yeah, it
bad.
swings for 70, and it's only 2 energy, so, it's pretty low commitment, and that is one thing that if you've been playing that Pidgeot EX deck, like I know you have and like I have, sometimes that 3 energy can take a little bit to get to, but hey, 2 energies, makes it a lot more reasonable, and there's the Pidgey making an appearance, there's the X speed, it looks like Aerodactyl is gonna shift into the active and start going to work.
Yeah, that's gonna be really just like you said, putting them on a bit of a timer here because this Mewtwo, now that there's 80 damage on it, only has 70 health left. I don't think they're running potion. I'll double check that. But let's see. Um,
No potion from what I'm seeing.
yeah, I don't see one either. And three fighting, or the next two energies are gonna be fighting as well. So we're definitely gonna want to find a Gardevoir if we want any chance here. We don't even have.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this is a great example of, hey, we kind of tried to get a little cute with our deck building, and now the RNG from the energy pile is kind of putting us in a weird predicament where, yes, we may have Gardevoir online next turn,
Mm-hmm.
but we're basically going to give up 2 points right here and be very vulnerable to cards like Sabrina and then obviously the Pidgeot in a couple of turns.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be very vulnerable to it, just like you're saying. Yeah, that's gonna be 2 points already for Wannabe. I can't imagine that's where Albert Liu wants to start off. Uh,
No, and then when you look at this Mew, I mean, what attack do you really want to copy in this matchup, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
you're kind of damage capped at 70 damage with the Pidgeot, 80 damage with the Aerodactyl, and conditionally 100 damage with the Marshadow. So like this is one of those matchups where Mew, you definitely don't want to have to attack with it, for that 80 damage. However, looking at
Ooh.
this situation, it's going to work out perfectly with that Giovanni, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and be able to get right back on track and put the pressure back on the fighting deck.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I did not expect that. I almost actually forgot that like Mew doesn't need to have a certain energy type. So I was like, what are we gonna do here? I was thinking it needed 4 energies, but just like that, we turned the table back around. Wannabe's on the back foot. What are they supposed to do here? I would say the only thing is obviously Mew has to copy an attack, and I mean maybe we could bring up a Hitmonlee, but they're not gonna put up the. Oh, we do have Sabrina, so it does work out that way.
Yeah, they're just going to rip the Sabrina, but and then they're going to
Yeah.
go ahead and they just honestly that's a little bit of a mistake, right? You could just send in the other Hitmonlee and the game would still be going, right? But you sent in the one with damage on it.
Well, I think either way it was the end, right? Because you would just use the Hitmonlee attack onto the other Hitmonlee if they put in
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah,
Arcanine.
yeah, you're checkmated there actually because you would just copy the bench sniping ability from Hitmonlee and just knock it out either way. Yeah, two very true. Checkmate.
Yeah, oh, let me cover
Man,
up here.
that game escalated very quickly, and it really showcased how Mew EX, even though it's not able to copy like very big, powerful attacks,
Mm-hmm.
it still was able to swing the matchup because guess what? Your Mewtwo had already done 50 damage to that Aerodactyl.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah,
And
just like you're saying, like it was fully set up, and because that early 50, they were still able to come back. I wonder what it would look like if we weren't able to get that early 50 this turn. We do have the next game up on stream now.
Yeah, the Gardevoir was just so clutch. I mean,
Yeah.
anytime you see that Gardevoir come down, you're just like, "Oh, no."
It's especially in this deck where you're running so many fighting energies, it really, I feel like, hinges on getting that Gardevoir because we don't get Gardevoir. We may literally never see a psychic energy in this deck.
One thing to kind of point out too is as they're trying to cycle through their mythical slab, Pokeball did find a Hitmonlee last game, and that felt, kind of bad, but it ended up ultimately not mattering. So that was also something that kind of stood out last game. This game, it looks like they're going with again the fighting energy from the RNG, energy pile, and it just so happened that because Ralts requires a colorless energy, they're able to start pressuring that Hitmonlee.
Yeah, it's really nice for now.
And then there's another signal, right? The energy
Yep.
going onto the fossil, signaling that Aerodactyl in hand again. And Aerodactyl could be a very big factor, seeing as Ralts is in the active.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, this Aerodactyl will stop it from evolving with that ability if it can come down here. Um, I wonder if there's like any
Man.
world where like we're supposed to attach it to the Marshadow, but as we said, it's probably a signal he has Aerodactyl in hand if he's going on and attaching to the old Amber instead. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of like look into the future of dropping Aerodactyl on curve right now, which
mm-hmm.
there it comes down, you may be able to sweep with this Aerodactyl by securing the first knockout and then preventing the Mewtwo player from even reaching Curlia. So it puts them on an immediate clock right here.
That is very, very true. I didn't think of the fact that it would move the Ralts forward into active spot, stop it from evolving next turn, but you're completely right. Uh, and that's going to be both of the possible Raltses slash Curlia that would otherwise be wanting to evolve into the Curlia that we just drew.
Yeah, and it's worth noting too that with Aerodactyl EX, let's just say that you Sabrina the Aerodactyl out of the active, the effect, the ability will still be in play. So it's not even
Mm-hmm.
like you can Sabrina it, something else out and then evolve. You're just locked out of the game right now. So this is yeah, you're gonna see
Oh,
that concede.
that's
Wow.
a fast 2-0 for Wannabe. Big ouch. So let's quickly see if we can find us another game here. Sadly, Hammer already did lose their match, so we will not be able to get that one up. Do you have any other interesting decks that you would like us to watch for today?
So looking at the pairings, I did notice that there's also some other matchups. We've got Pikachu going into Aerodactyl and Farfetch'd, so that's a matchup. But there's also it looks like they're playing another game, right? So
Uh, which one? Oh,
because
into.
Mewtwo won the first game, and so it's 1-1. So we're good to go.
Oh, wait, I thought.
Remember
Oh my gosh,
the
I'm
Mew
so dumb.
EX?
Yeah, I thought they just 2-0'd. I can't even. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. For some reason I thought and it doesn't I can't. My brain is oh my gosh.
Hey, we're getting some Starbucks in our system immediately. Let's go.
Oh, I will commence drinking the coffee. You are correct. I've just had it sitting beside me. Um okay. Yeah, it is 1-1. I'm
Oh, well, hey, it's all good. We've got a Pidgey in the active here, and
interesting.
we
Different
just saw a
start.
mythical slab actually send a Hitmonlee to the bottom of the deck, which you actually might prefer that if you're the Mewtwo player right here. But a very strong opener for
Mhm.
this Mewtwo player, looking, at putting some early pressure on this Pidgey. Poor little bird getting hit by a Mew for 20 damage.
Yeah, that's a sad little birdie for sure. I wonder if we'll see a Pidgeotto. We do see Pidgeotto, okay. Which could mean we could potentially see Pidgeot next turn. I wonder if they can attach energy where they go to the old Amber. They're starting Aerodactyl in their hand every single game right now. Good for Wannabe.
Yeah, and that's a tough one because it sets the stage for Pidgeot
Hmm.
to have an impact on this game later in the game.
Hmm.
You would imagine that, hey, this Pidgeotto is not going to be able to get KO'd because there's not really a possibility of Mewtwo reaching that 60 HP. But when this Pidgeotto goes to the bench, if it evolves to a Pidgeot, you immediately start thinking, okay, well, that could be a little bit of an issue later down the line with that Sabrina-like effect.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. It's gonna be something to watch for at all times for Albert Lou now. I we will need some type of retreat here though, I assume, for wannabe.
Yeah.
If they do have Aerodactyl, second Pidgey's gonna go down. But even just that 70 and 80 attack is enough to KO a Mewtwo. And we don't have run any potions, so it is definitely something to watch, just like you're saying. Uh,
Yeah,
let's
and
see.
looking ahead, just in case people haven't checked out the deck list, the fighting deck towards the top of the screen is not playing any Sabrinas, so the only Sabrina-like effect will be the Pidgeot. Now that's a controversial topic if people, for
Hmm.
people that are playing Pidgeot, just the base Pidgeot, whether or not you actually play Sabrina alongside it. In this scenario, you can see the pivot to a one prize attacker in that base Mewtwo as well. So they're basically trying to do a little bit of stalling while not giving up 2 points. And now we see double Pidgeotto on the bench.
That's not the worst, and we're powering up that full health Pidgeotto as well. So it could swing in the future. Yes, a great question. Like, do you run Sabrina when you may never hit your Pidgeot? Because it still
Yeah,
is a
and
stage two.
ultimately, yeah, and ultimately it may not even matter just because if you look at the bench situation for Mewtwo right now, Sabrina doesn't necessarily bother you. Pidgeot doesn't really bother you. But it also, like you mentioned, the math of 80 and 70, that just played a huge role. If you
Mm-hmm.
notice, they could have potentially, shifted that Mewtwo into the active potentially if they had the ability to, but that would have put their Mewtwo on a little bit of a clock as well. So they chose not to.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because Mewtwo is a little bit of a better tank, but we decided to go with this baby Mewtwo, which I think is a great card in this deck. I think we may have moved him out of the deck a little bit too quickly with Mystical Island, but I'm surprised we went for the Pidgeotto since we didn't have Giovanni. That being said, we are protecting that Aerodactyl. There's a psychic energy that can be attached this turn, so Mewtwo could have potentially KO'd the Aerodactyl very early in this game. Instead, they
Yeah,
go
I
for a
mean the
Marshadow.
fighting player. Yeah, the Marshadow's a little scary, right? But it seems like the fighting player towards the top of the screen is doing a great job of prize denial, right? They're trying to deny a two prize knockout
Mm-hmm.
with that potential for Mewtwo coming in and just all of a sudden shortening the game. The way it's shaping out right now, there's a very good chance that the fighting player could extend this game to a 1-1-2 prize map, which with all the damage that Mewtwo EX is going to get hit for and all the damage that's already on Mewtwo, the base Mewtwo and Mew EX, that the longer this game goes, the scarier it is for the Mewtwo player.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He doesn't want to let Wannabe get all these different Pokemon set up on the bench because now that he has, even if he KOs his Pidgeot, just like you're saying, you go to another one pointer, this Marshadow potentially that can do 100 damage to the Mewtwo. Then only at two prizes at that point, and then the Aerodactyl comes and finishes off. Which is not what you're looking for, especially when Albert Lou's bench is filled with Pokemon all below that 80 damage mark right now.
Yeah, this game is quickly getting really tricky. There's something that is gonna be a really big factor too. This
Mm-hmm.
Marshadow is gonna come in, you would assume. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
And man, this is looking really tricky because Hitmonlee is a card as well, right?
True,
Like
very true.
Hitmonlee being put down on the bench would just be all time bad for this player that's playing Mewtwo.
Yeah, very, very true. And Pidgeot is going to arrive. So I wonder.
I don't think you use the ability. I think you just go ahead and put 100 damage on this Mewtwo.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I feel like we
I,
just go on
I'm
and have to attack with it. Ouch.
I'm really shocked that there's no Hitmonlee. The fact that there's no Hitmonlee, hey, maybe that breathed some life into the Mewtwo player.
Yeah, I agree. It's gotta feel good to know that Himali's not there, but it does feel like this Pidgeot just says, it doesn't matter what you do, Aerodactyl will finish you off as well. You really don't like having
Yeah,
Pidgeot breathing down your neck this whole game.
yeah, and you almost want one of your Pokemon to get knocked out so you could potentially put down another threat. That
Yeah.
Gardevoir coming down, you're going to be tempted to retreat right here. I would imagine as your only line, right? Because that Gardevoir is going to be able to tank a hit,
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
and honestly, if you retreat, you put the Gardevoir in, you're not going to deal any damage,
I'm
but it could set you up for next turn.
interesting choice.
Okay, so this is basically conceding 2 points, and man, yeah,
We
Hitmonlee is just going to be devastating.
Yeah, I don't know about this because the problem is like, I feel like it was what you said. You retreat back. Maybe you go in and attach one more energy to Mewtwo. You retreat, so he has 3 energies when he discards to retreat. You retreat back to the Gardevoir. Then you can hand attach to Gardevoir. Uh, Next turn, hand attach and ability to itself, and hope that you get another Psychic the next turn after you KO the Marshadow. Because now you're giving 2 points, this Hitmonlee just follows up.
Yeah, the Hitmonlee is going to be the closer, right? You know, yep, yep. And the fighting
Ouch.
player is doing a great job of not exposing that Aerodactyl.
Yeah, very true. That's going to be 2 points for wannabe, but
Okay, so here we go. We've got a line here. So we're probably going to
mm-hmm.
need to retreat into the Gardevoir and KO this Hitmonlee. And
Okay.
I think at that point, you just hope that they don't have the Giovanni. I don't know if they've used the Giovanni yet, but that's probably your best line.
I don't think they've used it yet. For the people
Because
who
if
are
you
just,
put the Mewtwo down, you can protect yourself from Pidgeot.
yeah, very true, very true. Uh, the people just tuning in, Albert is also running a Hitmonlee for his Gyarados matchup, which is why you're seeing that fighting energy in the deck. But yeah, so we are going to be able to KO that Hitmonlee, just like you're saying, with the Gardevoir line. I actually basically missed it, even though I was saying that we should have gone to Gardevoir. So we are going to take a second point for Albert. Nothing KOs it, minus, obviously, as you said, that Giovanni. And I think we haven't. Oh! Huh.
There's a line.
There
We're alive.
is.
If you're the Mewtwo player, you're alive. Oh no. Oh no, the second Hitmonlee.
Uh-oh.
Not like this.
Not like this. Ouch. Um,
Is
yeah.
there a little bit of irony there? The Mewtwo player teching Hitmonlee ultimately is finished and KO'd out of the tournament by an opposing Hitmonlee.
I would say there's probably at least a little bit of irony there, for sure. But big ouch. Big ouch. And this time, that actually was game 3. So I am not wrong in closing
Hey,
the screen. Um,
what a great performance by this player, bringing the spice, and you never really saw the energy issue really pop up, which should give you some
mhm.
faith. Hey, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, no, very, very, very true. I was actually surprised that we saw so little, such like small problem with the energy. Uh,
Yeah.
I had assumed it would be play a lot larger role. That being said,
Yeah.
obviously we did get Gardevoir, but still, I can't imagine like it played much better than I would have thought it would be. Um,
Oh yeah. If we do have time, I'm trying to check out the pairings right now to give you a match
yeah, I'm
just in
trying to see if I
case.
can find us another one. We should have time here. Uh, we are. Uh, oh, that. Cable 2 just finished.
Yep.
Um,
We do have Blair Z going up against Sullivan. It's
an Executor
Executor
versus.
Celebi and
Did you see this list, by the way? The Electro list?
let's check it out. I don't know if I spent too much time on it.
It's only running one Pikachu EX. I'll try to find what channel they're in real quick. I would actually love to watch that list. It's an Electorb list instead of a Pikachu list, essentially. They're running, if I remember correctly, yeah, they're running Raichu, Electorb, and Electabuzz, and they're running their Lieutenant Sarge. So you can move the energy to any of those three, and you also have the Pikachu EX that you could power up.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out if we can get to it.
So it'll be channel 5. Let's see if we can hop in time.
Alrighty.
Perfect. Quickly try to get this up for everyone. Oh, nope. It just got 2-0'd in front of our eyes.
Oh no.
Sad. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
try to find a different one, I guess.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you have been paying attention to any metrics, that grass stack is just it's very tough for any Pikachu variant. Even though Raichu hit dealing 140 in one shot, can definitely help that matchup.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I see here though is we have one that just started 2 minutes ago. If we want to hop into that really quick, sorry not to interrupt you or anything. I just thought that we would want to hop into the next one, channel 20, and then we can continue to talk about it because it's actually still Pikachu Raichu that we're gonna watch.
Perfect. Let's
So, yeah. Let's see here. Will you tell chat what's happening on screen while I get everything set up?
Yes. Okay. So right now we're looking at our notifications log.
Oh.
Okay. Now we're up. Now we're up. Okay. So it's Electabuzz in the active with no bench, and then the Gyarados list has a Druddigon in the active as well as one on the bench and a couple of water Pokemon as well. The Electabuzz does have one energy, so it's already threatening to start spreading out some damage. So yeah, will be interesting to see how much pressure this Buzz can put on the opposing water deck. And again, if you can't run straight through Druddigon, you can always go around it.
In very choice cards, yes. I definitely agree with that, though. Electabuzz is not the card that Darky thought that they would have to be worrying about today, but it is the card that is about to destroy their Magikarp before it can evolve into a Gyarados potentially here. We do officially have that game up here, and we haven't done hand attach yet, just so everyone knows. So we could hit that Magikarp this turn.
Yeah, that Magikarp is looking toast. It's looking like we're having some fried fish.
Looking like some tuna tartare, almost. Or what do you call it? Sushi.
Hey, we don't speak of tuna anymore after what happened to you a couple weeks ago, okay?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. That's true. That's true. I was trying to eat tuna yesterday, and I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Ursi. But yeah, that is true. I got food poisoning the night before a tournament, for those who don't know. But I am assuming this is going to go into the Magikarp here. I cannot imagine a world where it doesn't. Wait. What?
My reaction right there is my genuine reaction. I cannot believe that just happened.
I cannot believe we just hit. I'm sorry, but what?
Okay, so let's talk about why that decision may have been what it was. So if you look at this deck list, it is playing double Lieutenant Surge with double Raichu. So that means basically at any point, even if you don't KO the Magikarp immediately, you're going to be able to, at any point, hopefully put snipe damage on it, and then Lieutenant Surge and Raichu could finish off that Gyarados, even if it's at full power.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of that, you look at this person's the way they're attaching energy, and it's signaling, hey, we may be trying to build up a Greninja. So if you can cut the Greninja off and put them at an energy disadvantage, you can put yourself really ahead in this game, and knocking out Gyarados would actually win you the game at that point.
Yeah, that is true as well, just like you're saying. And since we are attaching those energies, maybe they don't have Gyarados in hand. I just feel like the moment Gyarados appears, it's what, 170? 180 health? Okay, we do hit the Magikarp this time. But it does it. I put on the wrong person again.
I'm just, I don't know. I don't understand that, because if you knock out the Froakie, the tempo is completely in your hands, right? Like, they're going to need to take multiple turns to evolve and then power up the Gyarados, or they're going to need to get extremely lucky with Misty and evolve.
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of shocked. And then here's the other thing too. Let's just say that they evolve into a Froakie. You still would KO the Froakie. So I guess that's the argument, right? If you snipe the Magikarp now, because they didn't evolve into Frogadier, you can still just snipe the Frogadier. Does that make sense? Because like,
yeah, Frogadier's
it's not going to have more than 40 HP.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that makes sense then, I guess. Hitting the Magikarp afterward. It almost feels like, oh, you committed and you didn't commit, but it's exactly what you're saying. Frogadier is 80 health, so even if you evolve now, you can still KO it. But they didn't. They didn't actually even do that. And does Canotibus hit the active spot? I'm always confused who can do the active and who cannot do the active.
Electabuzz can hit anywhere on your opponent's side of the board, and that's what makes it like a really, really solid payoff card for those two energies. As opposed to a lot of those, some of those snipers that can only hit the bench, like a Hitmonlee.
Is it only electric snipers then that can also hit the active spot? Because Lumineon can only hit the bench.
Maybe Seadra. Maybe Seadra can hit. I would have to look up the text, because I legitimately have not played one single game with Seadra in my deck, but I know that it's a sniper.
But yes, we're at 2 points. This does feel like game here, which after I saw that that the Raichu was down a game, I thought maybe we were still gonna win with the Gyarados, but the Raichu still has a chance. Well, maybe we call it Electabuzz. I don't know what to call this list. I feel like it's just a Lieutenant Sarge list, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a Major Bob deck, right? Which is one of the funniest translations that I've ever seen. In one of the languages, literally, Lieutenant Surge translates to Major Bob. So any chance that I get to call it Major Bob, I'm always doing it.
True. Yeah, I love Major Bob. Oh yeah, Volcarona is one that also hits the active. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. So Major Bob there seals up this game, and it looks like we're going to the conclusive game 3.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I think that is the game 3, and that's gonna mean a Raichu into the top 16.
Oh, is it? Oh my.
Let's see. It should be. Let me just yep, that's gonna be TGPI Mental now is 2-1 in the top 32. Let's see if I can find us another one then, or is everyone done? Let's see.
Hitting refresh, it looks like we may have 1, 2, 3
One
games.
game started 5 minutes ago. Let's see. They're in channel 30, they said.
All right.
We could go check to see how far they're in.
All right, let's hop to it.
Let's go. Oh, more music playing. Let me turn that down. We're pretty early in the game, so let me see if I can get this up real quick.
Player is cat jamming over here.
For sure.
Getting in that zone. Oh, well, we came just in time. We saw a knockout pretty quickly. For those who may not be able to see the screen, an Arcanine is going to work and really putting a little bit of pressure on this deck. And this is a pretty popular deck as well. This is like the Greninja fighting deck. very cool deck, and for a long time, it actually had the highest win percentage on Limitless.
Oh wow. Oh, and that's in the game. Yeah, last time we had you on here, it was like the debut week of this deck.
Yeah, it's a very solid deck. Um, well, with that being that last game,
Let me just check.
yeah,
There's
we might
one
be
other
close.
going, but they started 5 minutes ago as well. 18 and 12. Do you want to hop into 12 and see how far they're in?
Alrighty, I'll see you there.
See you there. Okay, guys, these ones are just getting started as well. Oh, he's not here yet. Where did he go? Oh, he went to 18. I dragged you up with me. I went to 12, and you went to 18.
Oh. Oh, I might be losing it, Jack.
No, I think I didn't say what room. I said they're in 18 and 12, and then we just went to different ones. I'll get it up on stream for people to see.
Yeah, we've got plenty of game left here. Got plenty of game left. So, looking at the situation, Moltres is on its last legs, can potentially be KO'd by an opposing Zapdos, but that Zapdos only has 60 HP. Neither player has taken a knockout yet. This is definitely going to kind of come down to the wire here.
Oh yeah, it is. I wonder if we're gonna see. I assume we're gonna retreat back. Wait, no, we're just gonna use the peck. I was like, are we even though? I feel like if we hit Charmeleon, if we hit Arcanine, it's donezo. I feel like you should retreat and not give up 2 points.
I mean, that potion doesn't necessarily change too much either.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what turn it was. With 10 cards in deck, you can assume this is like the first 3 or 4 turns of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably means Growlithe has been sitting there unevolved for at least a couple of turns. So maybe
Yeah.
they're banking on them just not having the Arcanine. And let me try to pull up these stats.
Ouch. And that's me 2 points for Gerardo. I'm a little surprised though, like I said, that they kept the not full health Zapdos in the active spot. We do hit Charmeleon, but Charmeleon can't KO because of the potion.
Oh, that was the 5-headed play right there, playing around Charmeleon.
Yeah. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
Let's see. So I'm trying to pull up these deck lists just to have a little bit of reference.
Let's see. So Yu is running a 1/1 Growlithe Arcanine line with a Mew EX in this list. 1 potion, 1 Giovanni, 1 leaf, 2 X speed. And then Suardo, who's running the Zebstrika, is 1 Mew EX in this list, 1 Dedenne, 2 Zapdos, 2 Pikachu, 2 Zebstrika line, 1 Giovanni, 2 Sabrina, 1 potion, 2 X speed, 2 research, 2 Pokeball.
Yeah, how about that Mew EX technology that is currently in this Pikachu deck? You would love it in this matchup. I remember when I was looking at the deck list last night, I was like, oh wow, this is the one matchup where you probably really want that Mew EX as the Pikachu deck.
Yeah, very true. I can't think of too many other matchups that you might want in. Maybe you'd want it in Mewtwo, but it feels like when you're running 2 Pikachu EXs, that it's a bit of a liability. Mew EX hasn't appeared this game though, so one way or the other,
Yeah,
not
definitely.
a big deal.
Yeah, definitely Mewtwo and the fire decks are going to be where Mew EX would shine.
That's game.
Wow, double heads right there at 50%, just a straight up even coin tossed.
Yep.
And suddenly this game is over.
Yep, that's gonna be game, and that should finish our top 32 off right there.
And honestly, if I was just looking at these decks on paper, I would probably choose the Pikachu list to win, just simply because Moltres is definitely a little vulnerable to this Pikachu deck list, and then the Mew EX technology, if it's able to have an impact on the game, will definitely have a chance to win the game. So makes sense there, but we've got top 16 lined up. I can't wait to see what we see here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Let me bring up, well, I swapped over to the meta breakdown so that everybody can see the matchups. I'm going to tell them that they get started super shortly here. Do you have any, matchups that you would like to watch?
Well, looking at these matchups, I'm gonna tell you the first deck that I would want to see. By the way, do we still have?
Wait, do we have
Do
them
we have
going?
Ivan? Is Ivan and Danny still playing? Yeah, that's
It looks
that.
like they are actually. Huh. Why? How did we miss that? Uh, but they're 10
It's
minutes
at the
into their
very bottom of the
game.
bracket. Okay, that's our excuse.
Yeah, that's my excuse. That's my excuse today. Um, they're 10 minutes in, so I think we probably shouldn't try to go hop in because normally they finish in shorter amount. But I guess other than Ivan and Danny, do you have any decks you'd like to watch? I will state two things real quick. Let me double check one of them. But Led, who is down here, number 23. He's in top 16 versus No Zamillion. Led is a one first place in one of our tournaments. I think it literally actually might be our last tournament that we cast together. Uh,
Hey, I I'm not trying to take any credit, but I may be the good luck charm. Okay,
you could be in this case. You could be the good luck charm. And then
just throwing that out there.
I believe it. And then the other one is Bob, who's up at the top with the Celebi Superior, won last week's tournament. So we have two Ursiiday Pokemon Pocket winners competing for potentially their second win the set. I'm double checking which one Led got first in. Oh no, 11 was random. That's my bad. I guess it was the week before you then?
Is Bob by chance? I'm trying to look and see if Bob is the winner from last week,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at the deck list and I wasn't in love with it. I really wasn't.
How dare you?
But in my defense, okay, and a lot of people notice this because it's a really
Mm-hmm.
big factor in these tournaments. They avoided fire decks the entire 15 rounds
Mm-hmm.
that they played. But this week, if you look at their matchup history, if Bob is indeed the returning reigning champion, they actually are 1-1 against fire decks. So
Oh
hey, not
wow.
bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, so I am confirming here he is the winner from last week. I had to make sure the numbers were correct, but they are correct. And so that's actually our current reigning champ. He could be the first to back win.
And you're sure it's Bob 83727, not
Yeah,
Bob 83729?
yeah. So yeah, I'm double checking it on my other screen. It is Bob 83727. I was a little worried it was Bob 82727 who won last week, but it was not. It was not.
So the spicy matchup that I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
is definitely Aerodactyl Pidgeot. It's the same deck that we saw in round one take down a Mewtwo with the Hitmonlee technology. I think that Aerodactyl Pidgeot versus an Arcazard or a Zardcanine
Mm-hmm.
is a very intriguing matchup. I'm not necessarily sure what the advantage would be. I would actually have to look at the limitless data for that matchup. I have no idea how that matchup leans.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, if I'm being
Like I don't
honest.
know that we've ever even seen that matchup in volume.
Well, especially not the Pidgeot. Still waiting on
No,
that other matchup to finish. I'm keeping an eye on it. But I'm gonna scroll over to the metagame and see if we have any data on it real quick. I don't think there would be too many players, but we might as well check real quick. We're on Zarkanine. We go to matchups, and I'm looking for. I guess. Do you think I should only look for Pidgeot Aerodactyl? So it's got a 0% win rate against this deck, but it's only played once. It's only played it once.
so I don't know if you've played around with this at all,
Mm-hmm.
but on Limitless, you can go to decks at the very top of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can filter to Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, and it actually is a compilation of like every tournament that's been on the platform. And that actually allows you to maybe get some extra data that
Okay.
otherwise, would be super limited to just, one tournament.
Yeah. So, are there any other times it's fought against each other then if you look on there?
So I'm looking at it. Okay, I actually have some information.
Hmm.
Here we go. So I have Aerodactyl EX and Pidgeot from the Limitless data, and there has been a total of 5 games
Oh
in
no.
this matchup, and it's currently 3-2 in favor of the Aerodactyl deck.
Interesting.
But wait, there's more. Charizard EX and Moltres EX is sometimes a category that also is relevant.
Yeah.
And against that particular criteria, it's 6 total games, and Charizard EX and Moltres has the advantage 4-2. So this might be as close to a 50-50 matchup as you
Interesting.
will see in this top 16.
Yeah, really, really cool. So we'll have to see how it goes. I will say Danny did end up winning in the matchup that we were waiting for. So that's another Pikachu Zebstrika making it into that top 16 right now. Let's see though. Maybe we can watch that Aerodactyl again. I'm going to let people know that they can start their top 16.
And by the way, to give you some more data points, currently in this tournament, Wannabe Beetle, the Aerodactyl Pidgeot deck is 3-0 against all fire decks. So, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe the Aerodactyl Pidgeot deck has an advantage against these fire decks, but I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see. We'll have to see. 1 second here. We're gonna let them get started. I just messaged everyone that they can start when they're ready. But I'm really interested to see how we play out. Obviously, we need a lot more data than 10 games or 15 games.
Yeah.
But really, really, really cool. 1 second
And
here.
by the way, it is worth noting that this the fire player, I believe it's D'Angelo. I want to make sure I get that right. Yeah. So D'Angelo actually just overcame the water weakness too, but usually in that Greninja Farfetch deck, you're not playing water energy. There's some people that do play the water energy, but for the most part, people usually don't.
And which one? Sorry, I was just.
So like that Greninja Farfetch deck, where it's got like the fighting Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
The people that really like started to push this deck out there, they didn't play any water energy. They usually, so basically you never attack with the Greninja. But because I don't think we got to see it, I have no idea if Caps, the person who played against the Arcazar D'Angelo, I don't know if they played the water energies. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I wonder if they did this time. I did see some that 1 week that had Misty in it and were only running fighting energies as well, which I thought was kind of cool. We'll have to see how it continues to go. Do you want to watch from the Charizard's position or the Aerodactyl? I'm kind of thinking Aerodactyl since you kind of get an idea of what is in D'Angelo's hand by how they play, but up to you.
Yeah. Let's check out from the Aerodactyl point of view.
Okay, that's gonna be channel 4 then.
Alrighty.
Perfect.
Okay, so looks like for those who may be getting ready to tune in, we've got the coin flip, and it looks like the Aerodactyl deck is going to be opening first. And we've got an early Hitmonlee versus Moltres battle going down.
Let's see here.
So you've got a Pidgey coming down to the bench, and the Marshadow coming down to the bench. And also worth noting that it is the 60 HP Pidgey, which I do think is the correct Pidgey almost in every case. But that is something that, does come up every now and then. Some people do want that 20 damage, 50 HP Pidgey.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Somebody pointed out that with a Giovanni, you can KO a Magikarp with the Pidgey, but I feel like the fact that you just get one shot by a Mewtwo EX and the fact that Magikarp like never stays in the active spot because of its ability kind of negates my want for the 50. But that's
Yeah,
just
I
my
mean,
personal opinion with it.
there's just so much math that, in my opinion, makes the 60 HP option better.
Exactly,
Uh,
yeah.
Zapdos,
Mm-hmm.
the Mythical Island Pikachu potentially. Then there's Giovanni on top of those, right? Like that's how the Zapdos math works out.
Yeah.
Uh, but this Hitmonlee is going to do some chip damage to the bench and target the
Yeah.
Charmander. Next turn, Charmeleon comes out.
Really quick Charmeleon. I wonder if they'll have Charizard basically on curve. We hit all 3 heads last turn. 1. Okay, 2 is still a lot. We are very lucky right now. It's like, what, 5 out of 6 heads? Wow, that is exactly what Wannabe wants. But now all they need is obviously that Charizard that hasn't arrived just yet.
I mean, a couple of notable cards in this fire deck. There is one Giovanni, sir. There is a world where Moltres Giovanni takes out this
Mm-hmm.
Hitmonlee and could force in the Marshadow on the bench that now has 1 energy on it. Uh, that's definitely a possibility, which would put so there's the Charizard on
This
curve.
Charizard.
Yeah, Giovanni right here puts this fighting deck with Pidgeot in a really awkward position.
Agreed. 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 And it looks like we're gonna go on a retreat back immediately here. I weirdly enough, let me double check that D'Angelo's not running any potions. They're not. This Marshadow puts it at 20 health, and the Pidgeotto knocks it out.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't put any other bench Pokemon down, there's a potential where Pidgeot could just gust it back out, right? Bring it back out.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have stuck with the Moltres there just because I'm fine with them putting damage on my Moltres.
Yeah,
But
same.
if you look at the math, another Hitmonlee stretch kick would put Charizard at 90 HP, which would really leave it vulnerable to a few things. It would leave it vulnerable to Aerodactyl Giovanni, and then it would also leave it vulnerable to Marshadow Revenge KO if that was to happen. So I understand the logic for sure.
Yeah, very, very, very true. I mean, I think both can be a little bit of a risk that you would be taking. So let's see here. Yes, we go over the Pidgeotto knockout. They do Wannabe is run. I have the name swapped, by the way. I just noticed that. For
All
viewers,
good.
I have the name swapped. But let me just quickly fix that. But they are running Giovanni. D'Angelo is running Giovanni, so it could KO this Pidgeotto right here and now. But they don't. They don't hit it, it looks like.
So when they evolve here, they will be vulnerable to Giovanni, but they're just going to hop out of there. So the Pidgeotto has done its job by absorbing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Hitmonlee is still vulnerable to the Giovanni KO for the win right here. I almost would have rather, yeah, I think I would have probably rather have gone with the Aerodactyl earlier. I mean, if you had gone with the Aerodactyl earlier, you would have put this Moltres on a clock regardless. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the line that they decided to take, but
Yeah,
we are where we are.
a little bit of a bet for sure. If they have Sabrina, wait, they don't run Sabrina, so they don't have to run
Yeah,
Sabrina.
no
But
Sabrina. So maybe that's what they were plotting all along.
if they don't,
And
if they hit a
now,
Giovanni at any time, it's still game over.
yeah, they were at risk of Giovanni, but now the game is pretty much unlosable, right? So that's the good part.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that, yeah, that was a little bit of an awkward footsies by both of these players, and it seems like it's going to work out for the Pidgeot player. I don't know. I mean, I would have to rewatch that game at least a couple of times to really understand if they took optimal lines there. That's a questionable one for sure.
Yeah, I would have really been worried about Giovanni's because either way, Giovanni would have lost us the game, but
Yeah,
is a
multiple
one
times, right?
of. But at the same time, like, you know in their hand it's there's not a Growlithe, more than likely, or an Arcanine, because I feel like we would have put that down earlier. And so what would it we used Leaf to retreat? Or I guess it could have been X speed still. It couldn't have been researches in hand. Could have been Pokeballs, because we would have used those. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have thought it was Giovanni.
Yeah, that was an odd exchange, but you know, in the end it works out. Suddenly we're in game 2,
Mm-hmm.
and now you got to wonder, the pressure's got to be on this fire deck to really figure out how to send this to a game 3.
Yeah, and we are starting Growlithe this time, so a little bit of a different start. It looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a different attacker as well. Uh, they are looking for that Moltres, but I mean, we still gotta get the two Growlithes. Okay.
And honestly, as a fire player, you know, playing Moltres, any game that you lose where you flip 5 out of 6 heads, you're gonna sit and second guess yourself when you reflect on the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 out of 6 heads, that should be enough in most cases to put you over the top, but it wasn't in that particular game.
Yeah, I mean, this time Arcanine arrives very, very quickly, but no
Yeah, it's going to be a
energies.
little slow to attack, and so you wonder if they pivot here. And it looks like they're just going to take the damage on the Growlithe and put this Growlithe on a clock while they build up the Pidgeotto. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ifs right here. Okay, so the Arcanine comes down. So they have double
Taking
Arcanine.
Arcanine.
So
Hmm.
Marshadow would be an interesting draw.
Yeah. Oh, Pidgeot.
Pidgeot, obviously, as well, a very interesting draw.
I do we use Pidgeot this turn? I mean, I feel like we don't want to. I feel like we kind of want to keep putting damage on either this Charmander or the. But maybe we also don't want to get KO'd by the Arcanine.
Yeah, I think you want to make them have the retreat card. Granted, they play
Mm-hmm.
3 retreat cards, 3 pivot cards.
Yeah.
I think you want to make them have it and then put the 30 damage on the Arcanine that's already loaded, and just kind of hope that the game can kind of get back into your favor. But I mean, honestly, it's looking a little grim. It is worth noting that
Mm-hmm.
without Giovanni, this Pidgeot EX is going to be able, or this Pidgeot, excuse me, is going to be able to withstand an attack
Oh,
from Arcanine.
true. Very true. Oh, for a second I thought we were gonna retreat back to this Pidgeot and just go and KO the Charmander, if I'm being honest, but doesn't seem like the line either. We're just going to continue to put damage. We do have that pivot that you talked about with that leaf coming down. So we should be seeing the first point by Hitmonlee. If we can find you, I'm assuming at least that Pidgeot is going to be who comes in the active spot since it's fully powered up. But Hitmonlee only needs 1 energy. Either is definitely an option. Uh, so D'Angelo gets
Hmm.
yeah, D'Angelo gets a point.
So this is a very interesting line. So let's check this out. So they're going to drive off and force the Arcanine with energy back to the bench. They're going to put 30 damage on it, I assume,
Mm-hmm.
and basically put it in range of this Pidgeot. Now, the trade off is going to be, well, hey, I'm going to give up 2 prizes because both of my Hitmonlees are going to be KO'd most likely. However, I'm going to have tempo with energy to be able to KO this Arcanine because there's no potions and no blue.
Very true.
So good footsies here. Good. I think this is a very good example of how the base Pidgeot can get some value. However, this entire time Pidgeot EX would have probably been just as good. Regardless, it seems like this is very much a game that is up in the air.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wonder. We have energy attached to Charmander here. So I guess we don't have another pivot to go to the Moltres. So I feel like that might have been nice. So we're going to take our second point from D'Angelo. And then we're just going to have to hide behind this Moltres for a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, and this is where the Pidgeot ability is going to come into play because it can force out that Arcanine with potentially no energy. And then if you didn't use a pivot card right there, yeah, you would assume that it might not even be in their hand. So this is going to be a very awkward situation. I think the Pidgeot deck is sort of taking control right here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They're playing a master class this game on how to use the Pidgeot, it feels like.
And you'll notice they're holding off using the drive off ability. So they're obviously saying, "Hey, let me take these 2 points now." And so now you start looking at the potential for Pidgeot to maybe rescue this game. I guess this is going to come down to coin flips, right?
It does seem that way. Did we get Charmeleon? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think they evolved.
So I was thinking we could also potentially like pivot to the Charmeleon, but yeah, it didn't arrive, and we only get 1 energy on the Arcanine. Owie.
Yeah, so here's the drive off that's going to send out, you would assume, the Arcanine, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise you just lose. But this is going to be checkmate.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to retreat here, bring in the Aerodactyl, and it looks like the Giovanni that you're seeing come down is going to clinch this game. And wow, what a game.
What a 2-0 by the Pidgeot deck. I don't know if I expected that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you could point to is that clearly, Wannabe Beetle has done a great job against these fire decks so far, but to perform going 4-0 in this tournament against fire decks, that's very impressive.
Very, very, very impressive. Absolutely insane. We'll have to see how it continues to play because, let's see, either going against a Zebstrika next turn or a Celebi, so neither fire, but we'll have to see how it goes against those. But are there any other decks that you want to watch? I'm just quickly looking around real quick. We have a Gyarados versus a Zebstrika, which might have an expected end. We have the 2 different Celebis going at the table 1. We have a Celebi versus Arcanine at table 2.
Well, I think that maybe the grass deck, maybe the reigning champ would be something to peek into.
Let's see if we can watch that one then. The lead channel. Oh, it just finished, and our reigning champ is not going to have a run back. Not going to
back to back.
Yeah, not back to back, but there's some word for it, like where you run it back. There we go. He ends up losing in top 16. Very sad.
Yeah, I would have loved to check that match out, but it looks like we've got some other matches that are mostly type disadvantages. I'll tell you what, the TGP, the Raichu list going into Zardcanine or Arcazard could be a potential match as well if that's not too far gone.
Okay, so that's gonna be channel 3 then. Let's hop into there.
Oh, we've got a crowd in here. Let's go.
Yeah, I think they're also like casting on his stream together, is my understanding. For those who don't know, if you're doing like community stuff or things like that, we try to be really helpful dragging people in. But we do have to mute and deafen them when we join the channel. But other than that, we're always happy to help people do stuff for stream. I'm going to quickly bring that up though and get everything set up.
And for those who may not have it on your screen just yet, as Ursi pulls this up, we've got a Moltres in the active, and it is ramping. There's a Dedenne on the opposing side that it's attacking into, and we just saw 2 heads on a coin flip. So a lot of ramp for the fire deck here.
Yeah, that sounds really nice for a start for that fire deck you're watching with Usopp. I think that's correct. So let me pop that up here. They're currently 0-0 on the stream. So let me just, it is officially up for people to see. I'm sure Usopp is really happy to have that Arcanine already built up into that Pikachu, because I feel like that's the Pokemon you want for that matchup.
Oh, 100%. You know, it gets a little tricky when you start looking at the prize maps here. Hey, here's this mythical island Pikachu potentially taking down a Moltres.
Yeah,
Yup,
and
wow.
it does. Ouch. That's 2 points though for TGPI mental.
So let's see if we can forecast what's potentially going on here. So there's a potential where Arcanine goes into the active and maybe knocks out this Pikachu, but that leaves you vulnerable to a Major Bob and Raichu, because that recoil from Arcanine will put it in range of Raichu's 140 damage.
That's very,
So a
very
very
true.
tricky situation.
Yeah, very tricky situation, just like you're saying. And since they've already knocked out one Pokemon, Donkin's Arcanine would spell the end for for Usopp here. They're currently 0-1 in the series, so TGPI is up 1. So we go in with the Charizard instead, which I do think is probably the best decision. You can swing for 60 here, not even have to discard. Pretty nice plan. There is one Sabrina that TGPI could use to bring the Arcanine out, but then you wouldn't have to worry about a Giovanni. So
yeah, this is 100% the line, and I do like the decision to put the extra energy on Charizard, even though you're not using the 4 energy attack, because the way that the game is looking, you're going to need this Charizard to sweep.
for sure.
You're going to want as much energy on it, so that way you can keep firing off, what is it, Crimson Storm?
I believe so,
You're going to
yeah.
want to fire off multiple Crimson Storms here, by the way things are shaping out.
And that's Lieutenant Sarge is gonna have to be. Sorry, Major Bob, as you could say. Yeah, we got the Major Bob this time. So Major Bob appears. That's gonna be 140 damage, but that does mean the only Pokemon that's gonna be able to. Okay, wait. We haven't a hand attached this turn yet, so I did miss that. So either Pokemon could attack next turn, and Electabuzz would be able to take the win here. So I think it's like wait. We have no energy on the Arcanine. I'm a dummy. Ow.
Yeah, I mean this is really bad.
Yeah.
The 140 is going to put the Charizard in lethal range, and there's really no way to hide it.
Yeah.
And then when you take a look at the Charizard deck list, there is a little bit of saving grace. There's one potion in the deck.
Okay.
So there's potential that if you can figure out a way to find that potion, you can stay out of range from that Electabuzz.
Well, that's going to be what we're going to be hoping for then, because we need that potion to survive this next turn. And we find it. Let's go.
Yeah, they had it. They were ready to go. So
Ready to go.
if you attach an energy here to the Charizard, you're going to be able to do 200 damage again next turn and potentially win the game. So I think that that's critical to why that energy going on Charizard last turn was 100% the right line of play.
For sure it was. Really set him up for a nice sweep here with the Charizard. Charizard's one of those, like, to me, it's a really fun deck, because if you can get Charizard set up, big if, you do beat everyone, essentially. I mean, obviously, Gyarados, you do essentially get one shot if they have either Druddigon that you have to swing into or Greninja, but it is the only, card that can one-shot every other deck. That being said, having your stage 2 be your attacker instead of your supporter, like in Celebi and Mewtwo, it's a lot more difficult than the supporter being stage 2. So it does look like we're gonna get our win for Usopp, and that does mean they're going into a game 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Pikachu player right there, you played it exactly the way that you could. The only thing that you didn't want to see was that one-off potion, and that just happens to be what is played.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about Charizard is 100% spot on. Charizard is an absolute unit, and when it hits the board with energy, it's very tough to overcome for literally like every game or every deck in the game. So yeah, absolute unit.
For sure.
And the bulk played a huge factor right there. I mean, if Charizard had 20 less HP, that game is completely different. So the fact that it
100%.
also not only does it hit you hard, has pretty good health too.
Yeah, that is also very true. It's 180, which is minus. What is Blastoise even 190? I know Venusaur might be. I think Venusaur is 190, but I don't
Yeah,
think Blastoise
I was just
is.
gonna say Venusaur is definitely the tankiest Pokemon in the game, and there's no other outside of the starters that they're all limited to 180.
Yeah, very true. Will be interesting to see if we get any other 190s, though I guess with Venusaur, you still don't survive Charizard, sadly. But it this game, we are starting off maybe well for Usopp with that Moltres in the active spot. They'll be able to go on and attach to Moltres, potentially start powering up that Charmander on the bench. Saw that promo Charmander. I do think it is it's a good art. I like it. Um,
Oh, it's
but
absolutely adorable. Yeah.
so adorable. But TGPI doesn't have any other Pokemon down.
Well, it's one of those mind tricks. They're trying to bamboozle you by keeping those basics in their hand because you don't play red card,
Very
and
true.
then suddenly you just bam, bam, bam. You got three basic Pokemon there. These Pikachu players, they're
Mhm.
swindlers.
They are, and it's kind of nice for them too to get they're one of the decks that have so many attackers, so many different options if you want to fight with that you can brick yourself by filling up your bench. Like you didn't put the Pokemon down that you needed because you filled up your bench too early. I do say we sometimes see that with fighting as well, the fighting boxes now, but it's nice to get to wait to put those different cards down now that we don't have really red card as much in the meta. And
It's so
Charizard
important.
online, ow.
Yeah, this Charizard's about to put in work. It's so important to really, as a Pikachu player,
Mm-hmm.
try to, if you can hold on loading your bench, it really helps because you might draw that stage one like a Zebstrika, like a Raichu, where now you wish you played, the basic of that Pokemon. But because your bench is full, maybe you're not able to put it down.
For
So it
sure.
definitely matters, and you do have to pay attention to it. But that Charizard knocking out that Pikachu,
Oof.
this is straight up getting into danger territory for the Pikachu player.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There's no energies even on TGPI's board now. They'll start putting some down now. The only saving grace, in my opinion, TGPI has here is that this Charizard only had 4 energy, which means it can't swing for 200 energy or 200 damage this turn.
Yeah, and there's one Zapdos in this Pikachu list from what I can see,
Mm-hmm.
but really when you take a look at the current situation, I mean this game is quickly spiraling out of control for this Pikachu player, unfortunately, and I don't necessarily see a line where you could reasonably get back in the game. Let's just say that you Sabrina, I mean, you still are worried about multiple pivot cards in 2 leaf from this Charizard deck. Granted, they've already used one. Sabrina's probably the best card that you could see right here. I mean, it's just a tough situation.
Yeah, definitely agree here. Let me just check TGPI's list here. Oh, but they just go on and pass. Owie.
Yeah, and they only play one Sabrina because of the major Bobs
Mm-hmm.
taking up 2 deck spaces. And this is one of the big issues with Raichu list is that Raichu and Surge package can really put you in a bind when you're constructing your deck. And you often say, "Hey, I'll cut a Sabrina to make room for 2 Lieutenant Surges."
Yeah, I feel like before Mystical Island, we were starting to see where they were running one Lieutenant Bob because what are the odds of you needing more than one Lieutenant Bob when it's not like you're running Magneton? But now with Electabuzz, being a second Pokemon that Lieutenant Bob, sorry, is it Lieutenant Bob? Major Bob can help out with. It becomes one of those things where maybe I don't only want to use it for Raichu. Like as an example, right? If we have an X speed next turn, this could be an Electabuzz attack next turn. He survives when well, he doesn't survive 200, but you know, like maybe it's an Electabuzz. Now there's multiple options to use that major Bob on, and so we're going back to these 2 Lieutenant Surge Raichu lists that are still not even running the Magneton. So really interesting to see.
Yeah, and you know, as I mentioned before in the turn before, I mean, this is just an impossible situation to really overcome unless you had that Sabrina, and we see the concede, unfortunately. But still, you know, hey, great showing by that Raichu deck as well. I mean, making it this far in the tournament, that is going to be the match, it seems. But great run for Raichu variants.
For sure, and that's actually the last top 16 match. So we can get a glance at what our top 8 is going to look like. Wannabe still in the running as we saw early, versus an Executor Celebi list. We have a Mewtwo versus Zebstrika, which even though Mewtwo has a little bit of an upper hand there, it's only like a 53% win rate. So that is like as close to 50% as you're really gonna get. Usopp, we just watched with that Arcanine against the Zebstrika as well. And then Gato running that Arcanine list against Crack's Executor Celebi as well. We officially have neither of our champions in our tournament as well, though. Sad.
You know, when I look at these top 8 matchups, you know, we've got some 50-50s. Like you mentioned, and then we've got some type advantages with, you know, fire decks going into grass decks. But I got to tell you, I think the most interesting matchup is Wannabe Beetle going up against Lucy with this Aerodactyl Pidgeot deck into Celebi Executor, because it could get a little tricky with those Ericas.
Yeah, I completely agree. It can get tricky. I just let everyone know that they can start their top 8. Do you have any... Do we want to go back to Wannabe?
Yeah, I think that's the move. I mean, this is a matchup that I think a lot of people will enjoy seeing.
Okay, so let's hop back. Let me quickly undeafen the people I had to deafen when we came in here. Let's hop back into Wannabe's channel. They're in channel 4.
Alrighty. So this is actually, is this the first grass list that we've seen in our featured matches here?
Maybe, actually. I think it could be.
I don't think we've gone to one all day. I think we tried to go to one and the game finished.
Yeah.
But let's point out one thing that's going to stand out immediately if you don't have the deck list in front of you. This Celebi Executor list, first of all, I think it is definitely the way to play this deck list. However, there's only one Snivy in this deck list. So that might be interesting if, this is a big if, Aerodactyl or any other Pokemon can find a way to knock out that Snivy. That changes the complete complexion of this matchup, because now you're not able to depend on those 17 coin flips from Celebi EX. You know, you're going to really have to grind for that win. So one Snivy, and it's not the promo Snivy, it's the 70 HP Snivy.
Huh. Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic point. And I think it's, I mean, what is the priority here that they decide to opt out on that Snivy, putting in, what, is it a Giovanni that they added to this list for the Snivy?
It looks like Sabrina.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong list. Oops, Daisy. Yeah, it looks like a Sabrina. You're right. Interesting. Yeah, I do think 100% Executor is the way to run this list. We saw, you know, people tried to run only Celebi for a very long time. Well, by a very long time. The first week, who tried to run just Celebi, not a single one makes it to top 32. But now, even the Celebis that aren't listed as Celebi, aren't listed as Executor, are normally running a 1-1 of still Executor. You need that tank to set up behind. Celebi's 130 health. It gets KO'd by... It literally gets KO'd in the crossfire of Gyarados and Mewtwo. Like, any deck that's shooting for one of those two can KO your Celebi. So...
I mean, and Arcanine EX, right? Like, if you look at the math on Executor EX... a lot of the time, your Arcanine is not knocking out an Executor EX.
It's not.
And, yeah, so, I mean, like, there was a time where people were trying to to determine if Delmice, the
Mm-hmm.
new, mythical island basic, if that was going to be something that could slide into that Celebi deck. And from the very beginning, I was not a fan of Delmice for multiple reasons. But the biggest reason is if you play Executor EX in the first few turns of a game, you can fix almost every matchup in the game,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Executor EX, since the day that it came out, and people started to realize, oh, wow, this card is really good, even if you go first. It's just been a powerhouse. Kind of slept on for a little bit, but now I think it's getting the proper respect that it's always deserved, to be real honest.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They're finally getting started here, but I mean, even the fact that Delmines needs multiple energies, I kind of felt the same way. So I was a big believer of Venusaur. It was a little bit my like guilty pleasure was playing Venusaur during the just mystical, not mystical, just genetic apex time. And I thought even Executor was the correct one there because you go for any other setup, do I attach my energy to the setup Pokemon or do I attach it to my Venusaur? And it's the same question, like Delmise could need 2 or 4 or, whatever energy. But maybe I should put it on my Celebi, which is who you should be putting it on to. But with Executor, 1 energy, Celebi, everything else. Like it's there's no question about what you're supposed to do. However, Hitmonlee is here and I'm gonna start putting some damage into that Celebi. I think they want to get at least 1 more kick into that Celebi so it can be in range of an Aerodactyl or a Pidgeot attack. So.
Yeah, and Sabrina right here would be, yeah, there's the Sabrina. Wow. Yeah, I was just thinking this entire time, like, man, Sabrina in one heads, you're putting there's the heads. You're really putting this fighting deck in a weird position.
Ouch.
And like the other thing to look at too here as Celebi secures the first knockout of the game, if Executor would have came down on curve,
Mm-hmm.
You're still in that same situation, right? Like, I mean, it's just a lot of pressure. Man, this is
Another Odamber. They're really pushing for that Aerodactyl right now. But yeah, 100%. Even as you're saying, like that really consistent damage from Executor is so nice. There is no question that you will at least put some damage down when it comes to Executor EX. 40, maybe 80, which is still pretty insane. Versus your Celebi could swing for 0. Though it does look like we are just going to hit all heads here. So Celebi is proving me wrong. Who needs consistent damage when you just hit heads?
this grass deck is on fire.
Oh, literally. Well, not
I
literally,
mean,
but yeah.
5 heads in a row, taking complete control of this game. Okay, we got a ball game here. So it looks like there's no more Sabrinas left for the grass player. Aerodactyl is going to come into the active here, being evolved. It's going to put this Celebi on a clock even through a potential Erica. However, if they roll 4 heads, this game is quickly going to be over. If they roll 3 heads, the
Still
game is
over.
over as well.
Taking from my Pikachu math, we have about a 33% chance that we hit the Aerodactyl, we KO this Aerodactyl. That being said, though, I don't know. This is one of those things where it's like, I believe in statistics, and realistically, those 5 heads have nothing to do with the next heads that we hit. But I think they have to. But we do hit 2 tails here. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those math people will get on your case. The last few coin flips mean nothing to the next coin flip, and you're just like, okay, I get it, but still 5 in a row. Like, there's no way there's 8 in a row, right?
There's no way we have 8 in a row. Come on, but no, but yeah. So I believe in the math, but as someone who has to play against the Celebi, I'm over here like, buddy, you literally can't do 8 in a row. There's no world you do 8 in a row. Like, we just go for it,
100%. By the way, we have a very important play coming up, okay? If they do not flip double heads right here, there is potential where Pidgeot could come down and gust out that execute for the win.
Very true.
And it's worth noting it's worth noting that Snivy has not made an appearance.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Wow.
I did not think that was gonna happen. I'm sorry for knowing over you, but oh my god, what is the like? I mean, we could get some math going, but that feels like a very low chance that that's how that works out. Ouch.
It's so unfortunate because the fighting deck did everything it could to claw back in that game. But honestly, I have this saying. Okay, I say this all the time. If you're flipping heads, you're probably winning. If your opponent's flipping heads, you're probably losing. And we just witnessed our opponent flip, 7 heads out of like 9 coin flips. You really just can't do anything about that. That's out of your hand. You move on to the next game and you try to wipe that from the memory because the most important thing is the next game.
100%, 100%. Next game is all that. Well, next 2 games is all that matters. Wannabe can still take this back. That loss means nothing as long as Wannabe doesn't let it, and as long as Celebi hits tails here. So all we have to do, we gotta put it behind us. We gotta focus up. And we're going into that game 2 here. Pidgey is in the active spot. Not the best one to have there, but we still have... We could go straight to Pidgeot. We could get different Pokemon. We do have Pidgeotto now, which obviously we can't evolve turn. But, still a lot of options. And Lucy is starting with that Celebi Executor on the bench instead of the active spot.
Yeah, I would have 100% put the Hitmonlee down because now you're at risk of getting donked. An X speed and Executor EX with a heads coin flip, you lose the game here. So I think that it's very important to always put yourself out of range of getting donked, and that's a perfect example of it right there.
Definitely agree. Second Celebi down already.
Okay, so they end up dodging that potential donk, fighting back with another Professor of Research. They've got a loaded hand here of a lot of cards. Now they're starting to evolve and get closer to their game plan. The energy on Marshadow is just so threatening because now, you're basically daring your opponent to knock out your Pokemon, and the only X factor is Erica.
Yeah. Erica would do or we could just go to Executor.
Yeah, so it looks like they were just a turn late on this potential 80 damage.
But
man, this
surely
coin
hit tails
flip
here after 7 out of 9? Okay, yeah, see? What are the odds of 8 out of 10? Don't even think about it. But yeah, we do avoid that, and Pidgeotto survives. I definitely think Marshadow, though, is just so strong in these fighting box decks. I personally, when I run it, I like to have 2 Marshadows. It feels really clean to me to have that. Obviously, can get a little bit tricky, but I don't know.
So right there, a lot of people will question the decision to use Drive Off as opposed to just swinging 70 damage into that Executor, setting up Marshadow as a knockout. The only pushback that I would have there is Erica definitely kind of punishes that line a little bit because, you would be pushed back up to, I believe, 140 health out of range of Marshadow. And obviously your Pidgeot is going to survive, but there's no more pivot cards left for the grass deck. The grass deck is going full throttle, trying to get this win. Okay, here we go. I mean, this is very much the game is in the balance right here. Okay, so we're going to see a pivot out of the Pidgeot EX, denying the prize. And Hitmonlee is coming into the active. Okay, they're going to put pressure on the benched Celebi and just try to use Drive Off as the finisher with Marshadow. So it's very important that this grass player puts another Pokemon down on the bench, or they are at a lot of risk in the next 2 turns, ironically, even though the game has been very much in their favor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's see what they end up doing here. But it feels like we might have had a little bit of power shift in this moment.
Yeah, this coin flip is monumental for this matchup right here.
Completely. Ooh,
okay.
Tails. Whew.
They're alive. Okay, so I
Just
believe
barely.
what you're gonna see right here is the you're gonna see a setup. Yeah, this wow. So that fossil, if it evolves into an Aerodactyl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have Giovanni, you can
Oof.
fix the math on that Celebi. And also, they can't even put down another bench Pokemon. Like this actually the game has completely swapped.
For sure, 100%. Uh,
Huge Erica.
that
Okay.
is huge, yeah. Is Selby
Okay,
gonna?
so what about the fact it's just one prizers now. So it's strictly one prizers, and it's gonna put the fighting player in position to potentially steal this game because they play so many one prizers. Man, what a game we've got going on here.
Yeah, this is gonna be really interesting to see. I mean, I'm assuming Pidgeot is gonna bring up the Celebi, and then we put the 100 into Celebi, and we finish off with Hitmonlee.
Yeah, I think that's the best line. I think that's the best line. Because yeah, I mean, both of the Ericas are gone. I think that's the case, right? I think both the Ericas are gone. So this is going to be a retreat back into the Executor. However, Pidgeot is going to be able to drive off and bring it back out. Wow. What a
Wait,
game.
and yep, and that's gonna be game two. That's what a flip. What a flip. I mean, that just goes to show you game one means nothing if you can't finish off game two. And Wannabe brought it back. They did not let that absolute stomp over of game one affect their mental, and they just went on and, you
Hey,
know, got, you know, with.
we I, I was just going to say we chose the best game, right? I mean, if you're watching this at home or at work or on
Mhm.
your cell phone, you're not disappointed by the match that you're watching right now.
100%. 100%.
So Pidgey into execute. Looks like Pidgey is going first. Game three. All the chips are on the table. A professor's research comes down, getting a little card advantage, getting some more options. A fossil is going to come down. A Marshadow is going to come down. We're ready and rolling.
Yep, we are up and going now. I mean, seems like a pretty nice start for Wannabe here. They have most of the pieces that they want. I do feel like this is one of those spots where you just attach the energy to Marshadow and you say, KO the Pidgey. Just do it. Just do it. I'll respond. But we'll have to see if they have that Executor EX next turn for it.
This Aerodactyl technology could potentially block an Executor EX as well, and that's going to completely shift the focus of this game. The other point that I want to make sure that I bring up here for everybody that may be tuning in a little bit later, maybe you have this on in the background, but
Mm-hmm.
Superior has not made a single appearance this entire match, and you got to assume that it's due to the fact that they're playing one Snivy.
Yeah, it's very true. We haven't been able to find him one time because it's like super low chances even Pokeball hits. It's like what, 1 out of 5, so like basically 20% start, 20%, or I guess at that point it's 25% Pokeballs. But dang, where has Snivy been all these games? Great point.
Yeah, we haven't even seen a Surfine. I mean, it's not even been close. And you got to imagine that if Superior had came down that last game, that could have shifted the entire game because Celebi would have had more coin flips to just come in as opposed to the Executor. So we're
Yeah.
seeing a pivot. Uh, s-
Huh.
uh, so I think that this is basically signaling I have Erica and I'm gonna try to race you Celebi versus Aerodactyl.
That's gonna be. I will have to see how the race goes because obviously if we have Erica, it's gonna be at least a 3-shot. Did I do more than 3-shot? I think it's 3-shot. And then it's gonna be all up to can we hit the heads? And game one says we can. Game one says we can.
So they're able to evolve on the bench. I think I might have misspoken earlier, but hey, that's not the point. All right, but
Mhm.
Executor EX hits the board by evolving on the bench, and now this
Oh my
Aerodactyl
god.
is gonna take 100 damage. Wow.
We're gonna need to flee, I feel like, back to the bench spot. This is not where we wanted to be.
I think drive off has got to be a potential play if they end up playing a Pidgeot. Outside of that, I mean, we're in dangerous territory here with those double heads coin flips.
Lucy's having some fantastic coin flips this game. Not that like it can be attributed really, but you know, like it's hitting every single thing or every single heads they want essentially, and not even with a superior to support it. This way we're gonna go back to Hitmonlee. I'm assuming we're gonna put that same 30 damage into or the 30 damage into that same Celebi, but my gosh.
I'm not sure how the fighting player is going to weasel their way out of this. I mean, this is looking very rough, even with the double research, the Aerodactyl on curve blocking the Executor EX. I mean, this is
Mm-hmm.
just quickly shifted. Hey, there's
Snivy.
Snivy.
We have uh, the one showing.
So it tells right there, and honestly, the Pidgeot player has to be sweating right now because without that tells, you wouldn't have time to set up your Marshadow.
For sure.
Um, I wonder if there's a world where you use drive off here to try to stall out a little bit more. It might be worth putting, yeah, I was going to say put the 30 on the 130 HP Celebi, the clean Celebi. So hopefully next turn you can secure a knockout with Marshadow and maybe combo into Marshadow knockout and then Aerodactyl closer. It's just gonna be very tough to get back in this game though.
So tough. I mean, at least Marshadow is set up, but Executor is the one staying in the active spot. That being said, we could use the Pidgeot. We get our first point, but we're only running one Marshadow on this list. I'm gonna say this real quick, and I think
Yeah, one Marshadow.
and so I think I would love for us to have a second Marshadow down. I feel like we should be putting a second Marshadow down. Obviously, we can't, right? We cannot do that. But I just mean, like, imagine the follow up with another Marshadow. Oh, you gotta put up your Celebi after I KO your Servine. Oh, we had another Erica. Okay, okay. Now I'm following. I was like, wait, why did we put Celebi up? Makes sense now. That's gonna be 1 point for Lucy.
Man, this is if Superior comes down, yeah,
Yep.
it's about as close to GG as you can say in a lot of different scenarios here, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
you've got to play it out. Well, I
Yeah.
think, I swear we jinxed it. I did it again. I said, hey, Superior hasn't shown up, and then sure enough,
Yeah, they
game
were.
3.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree. I mean, the only thing to note though is that all the energies are on the one Celebi with 20 health.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna matter just because that
True.
Executor is just gonna be fine. And honestly, you don't even need but one energy on Celebi
Mm-hmm.
to start that train rolling again.
Very true, very true. And they do have it actually attached last turn to the Celebi. We are at 2 points for Lucy. I don't really know about this Pidgey forward. I feel like, but I guess we have to. It's the only one that can swing for one. But there's also, yeah.
Yeah, this is in the heart of the coins now.
Yeah, I mean, they hit 4 heads out of 4 earlier. Definitely a world that hit 0 out of 4. But instead, we're going to Executor, which is definitely the safer play here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I guess they're signaling they have another Executor EX. The game could be over right here, but it's not. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Hmm.
We survived. We did get 2 points for Wannabe their last turn.
Yeah, this is. I'm not sure that there's a lot of ways.
Feeling a little
Obviously,
late.
yeah, I mean they're playing to their out to the best of their capabilities, and there's a world where 70 and 80 from the Aerodactyl and a
Mm-hmm.
Giovanni could potentially knock out this Executor EX. But man, but you have to play to your outs, and to me that seems like your only out.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like you can and honestly all of that can be thwarted by just bringing in the Celebi. I am very surprised to see that drive off. Maybe they drive off again just to troll everybody. Okay, no, they don't. Yeah, I mean, I just retreat here, put back in the Executor, right? I mean,
I think so.
there's legitimately no reason to risk anything here. Oh wow, Gamba time. I mean, you're leaving it in the heart of the coins when you could probably just take a safer line. But hey, if you flip heads, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Yep, there it is.
no. And that's going to be the end. What an uphill battle for sure. I would hate to lose that many heads, but it happens sometimes. It happens. Wannabe did an absolute masterclass with their deck. Fantastic showing by Wannabe. Fantastic showing by Wannabe.
Yeah. I know that match took a while, so
I'm going to quickly
checking
check
to see what's going on.
So the last game going is still Usopp. They finished their game about 5 minutes ago. Their game 1.
You want to hop over there? And,
yep, let's hop up
Fire
and see
versus.
it.
I'm sorry.
Let's hop up to channel 3 and see it.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
But it looks like this game is getting close to its climax. But that last game, you do such a good job of playing that entire match. I think you really would like to just take the coin flips out of it and send in that Executor EX. I know that Pidgeot and Fighting Player is probably saying, man, they left a door open just a little bit. I wish that I could have gotten some luck. And I think one of the biggest things that you can do as a player in this game is to minimize those chances for you to lose. And it does stink to lose in a situation like that where, hey, your opponent probably had a 100% win condition, but they decide to, forgo that. So it's a tough game, but got to look at the current one that we've got. It's tied 2-2 in terms of points. The Mew EX is in the active, that Mew technology from this Pikachu deck with 2 energies, but it looks like it's about to get cooked.
Yeah, agreed. And with that, that's gonna be the last point they need to take this series 2-0, meaning that's their last top 8. Are we going into we're gonna go into our top 4 here very shortly. I'll pop up the meta breakdown so people can see what our top 4 looks like. But our first game, I believe Usopp's in the top half, would be, with Usopp in it. So.
Oh, a little fire on fire.
Ooh. Wait, that means, oh my god, I've been saying I think that Charizard's gonna win one of these every single week for like the last 3 weeks, but this could be it. I'll actually have a fire deck in the finals.
Yeah, it looks like it's guaranteed. And honestly, if it's Arcanine or Arcanine, you like the matchup against either of the opposing decks, which are Mewtwo or the Celebi Executor deck that we just saw.
Yeah, not bad. Let me just let them know they can start for a second.
By the way, going into this tournament, when I did my projected brackets, before the top cut happened, I really did think that the finals would be Mewtwo against Executor Celebi. I actually did have Lucy in the finals based on the way that I thought the matchups would go. And it looks like it's very close to happening, but man, I mean, it's going to be an interesting top 4. I'm not sure what deck I would choose in the Arcanine versus Arcanine matchup. I think that's a little bit of a tough one to call.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think that Mew in the Arcanine list is going to be really interesting. because obviously it can one-hit KO a Charizard. And then similarly, we'll have to watch to see how that Charizard plays out. Because like that Mew could almost like make it where it's basically a mirror match, but you can't hand attach. You can't Moltres attach to the Mew EX. So we'll have to see how it goes down. Thanks for while they're getting set up, guys. Do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, XP Collect. They are so awesome for putting up this 400 USD prize pool. Every player who's in top 16 and up does get some prizing. And if you guys want to check out, or if you're looking for any like Journey Together cards, they're a card shop from New Jersey. And you can order basically any type of cards from them, Lorcana, Pokemon, etc. And put the number in chat, you can sign up for pre-order notification. So just wanted to shoot that out there real quick while our players are getting set up. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this plays out.
You want to stick with the Fire Mirror?
Yeah, we're gonna do Fire Mirror first because we run them asynchronously for this one.
Oh yeah, that's right. One at a time. We stagger them. Okay, so for those who may be interested, apparently in looking at the numbers, it looks like the deck with the advantage in terms of matchup numbers is the Arcanine Charizard deck list. The one stickler is going to be the fact that it only plays a 1-2 lineup, Growlithe to Arcanine. So we'll see if that pops up. But going into it statistically, it seems like a pretty noticeable advantage, anywhere from like the 57 to 58% advantage would be in favor of the Arcanine and Charizard list.
That's a good point. Let's see.
There is a red card.
Ooh,
By the way, my bad. I didn't mean to talk over you. There's a red card in the Arcanine list as well, but no red card in the Charizard Arcanine list.
That could be really important, though, going into a Charizard list, because Charizard needs so many different pieces. So many different pieces.
So immediately, looking at the way this match has started, just in case we're still getting this up on the screen, by the way, big shout out to Ursi. You do a lot of work behind the scenes. A lot of people don't even know how much work you're doing behind the scenes. She's carrying me, chat, okay?
No, he's carrying me while I'm doing this stuff.
It is Moltres in the active for both players. A Pokeball finding a Moltres EX was very clutch for the Charizard and Arcanine player. And with the first attack of the game, Moltres is going to flip one heads, attaching an energy to the Charmander on the bench. Moltres, on the other side, has no bench Pokemon. So we'll see what Pokemon they come up with, if they have any in their hand.
For sure. I was saying this before I got distracted by something. Sorry about that. I think this red card's going to be really interesting in the Arcanine list, because Zarkanine has so many moving pieces, right? Like, if we do have a Charmander here, but let's say we never hit Charmeleon, we're 5 turns in, and suddenly Charmeleon comes down. You already knew 2 cards that never reached their hand, and it's that Charmeleon, which means an increased chance that Charizard is already in their hand. So having different threats like that, or do you hide the Arcanine or hide the Charizard and wait so that like a Mew EX can't have a Sabrina around, things like that are going to be really interesting to watch. But 3 heads, ouch, and we already have a fully set up Arcanine if we have the evolution. Jesus.
Yeah, that escalated quickly. We're seeing the Mew technology come down. I guess a lot of people would refer to this Arcanine list as being an Arca-Mew list. That's kind of one of the new slangs that they're using for this deck. But you start to see the impact that Mew EX could potentially manually charge. Wow, what are the chances we see both players flip 3 heads? That's incredible.
Actually, crazy. I do wonder what the odds of that is. Kind of, I don't know. But that is great for them. They do already have that. They have these cards already getting set up here. We'll have to see if they can get that Charizard.
See, this is a little nerve-wracking. That Mew technology is going to really keep a potential Charizard at bay. Looking at these deck lists as well, it is worth noting that there is 2 potions in the Arcanine list. There's 1 potion in the Arcazard slash
Mm-hmm.
Zardcanine list. Both players are packing 1 Sabrina, and then the biggest difference is going to be the Mew and Arcanine list is bringing double Giovanni. So maybe that double Giovanni plays a factor. I'm not sure that it will. Honestly, I don't think that there's any like really big breakpoints. I think most of the time it's just going to be overkills or one-hit KOs. But Arcanine EX comes down from the hand and immediately puts pressure on this Moltres EX.
Yeah, really early pressure out there while we're still looking for some of those evolutions on Usopp's side. I mean, this Moltres could get immediately KO'd. We could see a Charizard come out with this, this Charmeleon already basically powered up. But I mean, he's hedging his bets. He doesn't have it, is what it feels like here. Um,
Yeah, and again, even if you do have it, you're a little nervous putting it in because that would put you at 4 energy, right?
yep.
So the next attack, you would only have 3 energy, and it might be enough time for Mew EX to play a role. But honestly, yeah, this is the big turning point. This is probably the big, kind of climax of this game. I don't know how this is going to play out without a Charizard. With a Charizard, you could definitely see a line where there could be a comeback.
Yeah, that could lead to a comeback, just like you're saying. We're gonna hide back with this Charmander, trying to stave off a couple turns, but I don't really know how many points it saves off. Minus, I guess it does protect. No, it doesn't really protect against the Sabrina either.
I think that was a misclick.
Oh.
I think that was a misclick, right? Because there's no reason not to attack and get the I believe it's 30 damage from a Charmander for
Oh
injury.
yeah, for that, that's very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I think that was actually a misclick. Let's
Hmm.
see if that ends up mattering. I mean, actually, yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay, so check this out.
Okay.
It might not matter just because that Mew EX is going to be ready to go. But if you had attached an energy to the Moltres last turn, there could be a line where you Giovanni and attack for 80 damage into that Arcanine EX and KO it. But that it doesn't matter at this moment. I think this is probably checkmate.
It does feel like it's gonna be checkmate, unless. Well.
Because if you attach to the Moltres, right, and you
Yeah.
retreat, and let's just say that you have the Charizard, well, Mew EX is sitting there just like, please, please send that Charizard in. I've got 2 energy already. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, it's ready to set up, and the Mew EX just KOs, takes the last 2 points. It does, like you're saying, kind of feel like checkmate. That Mew EX does not feel great here. This really does feel like that mirror match that I mentioned earlier. Like, with Charizard, at least most of the time, it's like whoever puts in Charizard first loses. And in this case, uh, Gato kind of doesn't even have to worry about that because they don't have to risk a Charizard. They just be putting a Mew if that even happened. Uh, but it feels
I mean,
like,
it's just I was just gonna say it's so difficult to overcome a Arcanine on
yeah,
their second turn of the game. Like if Arcanine comes into the active and starts swinging for 120, literally every deck in the game will struggle with that, unless they high roll with something like a Misty. Yeah, there's the Mew finisher, copying Crimson Storm, something that was one of the biggest topics of why Mew EX was going to make Charizard decks obsolete. We're seeing it on the
yeah.
last weekend of the Mythical Island meta, and we're going to a game 2 with Arcamew or Arcanine in the lead.
Yeah, definitely agree. Um, we will have to see if that's how it shapes up game 2 as well. They did get, though, really early energy start. 3 heads immediately putting 3 energies on that Growlithe. So they were able to commit more hand attaches to that Mew EX early in the game. Maybe if they don't hit the same number of energies, they won't have Mew EX prepped and ready for a Charizard. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, 100% you're spot on with that. That three heads is, it's going to allow you to have more flexibility with where you're putting your other energies every single time. Even if you have Charizard, the whole Charizard line in your hand, seeing that three energy, you're like, well, I don't necessarily have to go to four right here. I can kind of actually spread these out, which is probably the optimal line. But in this game, we've got Mew EX making another appearance, going head to head with a Growlithe, and the Growlithe is going to be going second. It is worth noting it is the Zardcanine list going second. So just to make sure I clear that up.
Yeah, really good point. Let me get that up real quick here. There is no Moltres down for Usopp to really, or sorry, I guess in this case, neither. Gato doesn't have one that they can put the energy back on from a Moltres, and Usopp doesn't have a Moltres to help power up this Growlithe and Charmander.
Yeah, when I take a look at the way this game is shaping out, this is one of the big problems with that Archimew list is, you're dependent on a Growlithe or another Moltres to ramp, right? Like if you find Moltres but no other fire Pokemon, it might as well just be a basic Pokemon that kind of swings for 70 damage with 3 energy. The way this game is looking right now, Charmeleon's coming down. We're seeing an energy get put on the Growlithe,
Mm-hmm.
and that Growlithe is getting closer and closer to maybe being a threat. But yeah, I mean, this Arc and Mew list, it needs to find another fire Pokemon to start ramping.
Yeah, and a way to get to this. Oh, we're just gonna attach on the bench still here. I think that means no other basic.
Yeah, I mean, the only saving grace there is that you do play double X speed and one leaf in this Arc and Mew list. There's the red card making an appearance. As we speculated, it might matter earlier. And you got to wonder, if you were able to see it, if there was an Arcanine in hand, are you kicking yourself right now for not slapping it down?
Yeah. Hmm.
Because, I mean, the only argument right there, right, is that, hey, I want to hide the fact that I have this Arcanine, but you get Omega punished by not playing it and getting red carded. And I know red card is a hot topic, but right there, I think it's clear to see that red card made a big difference right here.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree. Uh, red card. It can be a psychological game, and it can actually hurt you for what's in your hand. So, personally, big red card believer, but still. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think in that scenario it demonstrates the strength of red card, but like, a lot of people will say, "Hey, they could have just drawn the Arcanine off the red card," and that's 100%
yeah,
true.
both are. Oh,
However, you are limiting their resources, taking them from 5 cards down to 4 when they draw for turn, and you're basically making them have it.
yeah.
The other counterpoint is, hey, if they had the Arcanine, they would have played it. So, yeah, I can definitely see both sides of that argument there.
Let's see. But
Okay, so
Argonaut
Leaf
Leaf
coming
back.
down. So do you start ramping or do you start swinging? Because if you swing, you put that Moltres in a 1 turn clock potentially, assuming no potion, and that could okay, they're gonna swing for
Yeah,
70.
I'm a bit. I think you swing here. I think you swing here for sure. We do hit Arcanine now, but there is no energies on either our Growlithe or our Moltres here. So I don't think that.
Well, we got one on the Moltres to ramp
Yeah,
because we just flipped 3 tails, but it's still gonna be we're basically sacking 2 points if we commit to this Moltres.
100%, 100%.
Hmm.
Still, if
You're gonna
we,
need to flip. You're gonna need to flip heads.
yeah, we're gonna need at least. We need one heads, kind of. Okay, we have one, two, all three actually. I'm not sure we needed all three unless we attach them to the Charmeleon and hit a Charizard, but
Yeah, maybe there's a world where you're playing to your outs there and you attach, all multiple to the Charmeleon, but I mean, the way that you have it set up right now, you're going to be able to start swinging with the Arcanine and manually attaching to the Charmeleon. But you're
mm-hmm.
also signaling, you're probably signaling, telegraphing a little bit, hey, I don't have Charizard. Because otherwise you would have put the energy on the Charmeleon.
Yeah, no, you're definitely signaling you don't have Charizard here.
If I'm the Arcamew player, if I'm the Arcanine player here, I'm probably getting ready to go with Mew. I think that by the time my Mew gets up and running, it should be able to knock out and deal with the Arcanine, or it's dealing with the Charizard. So I think that that's probably the line to take. Not sure exactly what other options they're entertaining right now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because, I mean, like, where else are you going to put the energy, right? Oh, wow. Okay. I guess they're signaling they have Arcanine of their own?
Yeah, it feels like that. We take our 2 points here as Gato. We even get it though fast enough, the Arcanine, so I'm thinking. Because so we put the Arcanine down, but you're only at 2 energies.
Well, you're going to get another turn because there's no math where Arcanine knocks out this Moltres.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I was thinking you put the energy on the Mew, because it's going to cover both of your bases. It's going to cover the Arcanine because of the recoil, and then it's also going to counter the Charizard. So I do think that the Mew EX was probably the better avenue to go. But again, I'm the one sitting here, commentating, and they're the one playing. So
Very true. I mean, yeah. What do we know? That being said, though, I kind of agree with you that I think Mew EX probably is the better choice. Maybe there's some world where like Giovanni KO's Mew EX, but like you have already KO'd it with the Mew EX, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't think of too many myself. And Arcanine's down to 60 health now, and Charizard appears.
So you have to retreat. And you have to bring in Charizard if you have it, which obviously, if you're watching the screen, I think the draw popped up, but yeah, it's just got to be a retreat into Charizard and knock out this Moltres. And because they did not put the energy on the Mew, you actually have a win condition. I am baffled. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm baffled.
Yeah, I feel like we.
Because like even okay, so say you send in Charizard right there, you collect the 2 points from Moltres.
Yeah.
Even if they have Sabrina, you can send in the Moltres and you have the ability to draw a leaf to get it out of the active or have the leaf, and you win the game on the spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, yeah, I mean, like now in this scenario, I'm not sure that it makes sense. I mean, heck, now I have time to probably build up a. I don't know that was the right line to take.
Yeah, I feel like that was like also the turn to put the Charizard up. Nothing KOs Charizard. The Mew EX isn't set up, which is again another reason why setting up Mew EX might have been like the better play.
And you win the game. You win the game if they don't deal with the Charizard in the active.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the Sabrina. Yeah, you just deal 70 to the Charizard, and now the Charizard player is. So okay, let's pay attention if they draw a leaf right here. That's gonna determine whether or not they got punished. Okay, so yeah, it may not have mattered because they wouldn't have been able to get out of the active with the Moltres.
Yeah,
because
true.
Sabrina. So Sabrina would have brought out the Moltres. The Moltres would be stuck in the active and then get. Well, yeah. I guess. Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack. If you would have put the energy on the Moltres preemptively, like last turn, you put the energy on the Moltres. You send Charizard in. Charizard deals 60. You get a point. Now, if they Sabrina, they can't knock out the Moltres, and you just manually attach the energy to the Moltres. You retreat out of the active because it has 2 energy, and you win the game with Charizard. So yes,
Didn't Charizard only have 2 energies though? Before.
Yeah. Because it would have had 1 energy from the previous turn, and then this turn you would attach to it manually.
But I was saying it had 2, so it got 3 because of the hand attach. No, it got, then Moltres got the 1 from hand attach, and then it flipped 2 heads, and they attached the 2 energies to Charizard. Right? Am I wrong with that? Because I thought,
Yeah.
so then he wouldn't have been able, he would have only had 3 energies this turn if you were treated, or still 2. We're in there.
I would have to watch the replay to make sure. I think I would have to. And but like even then, your Charizard wouldn't be able to get one shot.
Yeah, it couldn't have been one shot. I think Charizard being up is correct, but I think you still could get your Moltres stuck regardless, is what I was meaning. Because it was like you hand attach to get the 3 energies, it can KO the 20 health Moltres, then the next turn it could hand attach and knock out, but then there's 0 energies on the other Moltres that we just put down. And so Moltres would get stuck because the Sabrina came down.
Yeah, but if I'm incorrect on the energy, 100%.
I mean, I could also be incorrect on it. I'm like, for sure. I'm just like trying to walk through the like thing as well, because as you said, if you hit leaf, it really doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I would have to watch the replay there. I'm not sure that this research is going to really change too much. Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe it extends the life of your. No,
it could extend the life of Moltres. Well, couldn't you potion, the Charizard, retreat to Charizard now, KO at the 60 health, and pray they don't have Giovanni?
Yes.
But if they have Giovanni, you still lose.
But, yeah, and they play 2 of them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know chat usually does a pretty good job keeping up with this stuff. I wonder if chat has kept up with that.
Here.
I think there's a lot of like Brazilian, I think, being spoken, or Portuguese. I have no idea what that's saying.
Really quick though, guys, just as we state this, watching stream and our ideas of what they should be playing or doing is way easier. Everything is, crystal clear when you're looking in hindsight. What is it? Hindsight is 2020. So let's not hate on any players for making mistakes. It is super pressure to be in the top 4. Top 4 pays out 35 versus you get first place. I think it's almost 5x that? At least 3x that. I can't do math right now. So the pressure these players are like playing under, not even the fact that they're also on stream while they're playing it. Please remember that, and let's be respectful to all players, because it is never kind to. We can disagree on what he should have done, but let's not talk bad about any of the players that are, being awesome enough to play for us and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, good run. That's a good run. Unfortunate there.
But let's definitely remember that though. But yeah, good run for them. A fantastic run. Top 4, absolutely insane. Fantastic job by them. Congrats to Gato for making the final, but congrats to Usopp for getting all the way to top 4. Absolutely awesome. And with that, we will let our next set get ready. Make sure that they're streaming here. Let's see, they're in channel.
Yeah, and honestly, all of that could have been avoided if Mew EX had been the Pokemon that they chose to power up anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so.
Also true.
There's a lot of what ifs there, but I think, in a perfect world of like, no questionable plays, I think, that player probably still wins and moves on to the finals.
Yeah, totally agreed. We're going to hop to channel 11.
Alrighty.
Perfect. We're going to be watching from Lucy's point of view.
But hey, we've got a great matchup for you lined up right here. Let's check this out.
For sure.
I'm over here pulling up the deck list and everything so I can make sure that I have access to that.
Perfect. I'm just getting everything set up for chat.
So we've got the Executor, Superior, and Celebi deck going up against, the pretty typical Mewtwo Gardevoir deck. There is a red card in this Mewtwo Gardevoir deck, so that'll be something to pay attention to potentially. And again, as we stated in the previous round, the grass deck is playing one Snivy, which does lower the consistency of getting Superior out just a little bit, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, let's see.
And by the way, I know a lot of people are going to get this is going to be a big topic. The Mewtwo list is playing one mythical slab. That one mythical slab the reason why they're probably playing one as opposed to two is because they chose to either include a extra Sabrina or a red card, because you do typically see a lot of Giovanni in these deck lists, at least as a one of. But those are probably the two biggest things that will stand out to a lot of people when they look at these deck lists.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a blue, especially in this matchup as well. There's no blue in this list. Because, like, yeah, since it's 50s, then you could offset a little bit at least.
Yeah, one mythical slab is probably the biggest, like, I don't want to say head scratcher, but I would probably say, like, one of the biggest, like, debatable choices in that deck list. I think you could get away with red card for sure, but one mythical slab, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like two mythical slab is so strong, and I feel like sometimes people don't realize even, I am getting up the game on stream here so everyone can see, but don't realize how powerful it is even if it puts the card at the bottom of your deck, because now you know one of the cards in your deck and the order that it's in. Like, there's a lot of like strong things even of putting it on the bottom of your deck. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think you just, if I'm building a deck, by the way, pretty slow start for both players by the look of it, but when you look at, what cards you want to include, I think like double mythical slab is just kind of like usually an automatic for most psychic decks. So I think that's probably the biggest like pushback that I would give to one mythical slab. But again, you look at this and you see that this person's in the finals and you're just like, well, they're in the finals.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if it works out, it works out. I think the one that I always see interesting is sometimes in non-psychic decks, you see a mythical slab with the Pokédex. And I never know how to feel about those either. Like,
well, hey, if they're playing the cool-looking promo Pokédex, like, I'm all for it.
True,
that thing looks awesome.
That was a very early red card.
So I think that, personally, I'm a fan of it. Are you one of those people that would probably say you would not like to see that red card right there?
Yeah, I would not. I would never red card there. Maybe if they've used both researches, but I don't think they've used both researches. Personally, I like to save red card till like one of the last two turns. That's my way of playing it.
The only reason why I like it is in that scenario, I want to say that they might have even used Pokeball. I'm not sure exactly. I would have to go back and watch the VOD. But there, when you shuffle those cards back, you're looking at one less professor's research. They have less tools to work with, and then obviously they're trying to evolve. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I can definitely see the argument for like no right there.
Yeah, I think there's like some arguments if we've like Pokeballed and like researched and things like that. It's just personally I like to do it like at where you have an idea of if they bricked or not.
Yeah, and like, one of the big things about red card is like it's sort of weird because at the end of the game it kind of gets a little worse. Like if your opponent gets to like 3 cards in deck or like
obviously then you never use it for sure.
Yeah, it gets a little worse. So there's almost like a little window of when to use red card. And I think that the way that they used it probably fit in that window, but obviously, it's subjective because we're going to see the results of it and we're going to say, "Oh, well, it did this, so obviously it was right or it was wrong." So, hard to be not results oriented right there.
Yeah, I think some people could joke that I sometimes save red card for the next game. But I don't know. I like to. I don't know. My sweet spot is when there's like 8 cards left in deck, and you've like the rest are in hand or on the board, and then it would like, I guess like put them into like 10 or 11 back in deck, and so you're like changing it from like and so you're like mid game at that point. That's where I like to use it.
Yeah.
Because
No, definitely could see it, especially if they've used two researches, right? They
yeah,
have less draw power, all of that.
no draw.
Looking at the state of this game right here,
Ouch.
this Executor, if it flips heads, potentially game changing right there, right? If it doesn't flip heads and they're able to pivot out of the active and, deny that knockout, that would actually be very huge. Looking at this Mewtwo list, also worth noting there is one Giovanni. So that Executor is definitely in danger. No
Yeah,
attack.
Curly arrives on time. Even this Mewtwo's
Did
in danger now.
did you see that? No attack?
Oh wait, was there no attack? I didn't realize that. For some reason, I thought there was an attack.
I'm watching the replay right here just in case, but I'm pretty sure that was they like didn't attack.
Why? We could have like actually KO'd Mewtwo. Did we run out? Did we run out of time? Did we run out of time?
Uh, I'm watching the replay and it looks like they just clicked in turn. I don't know if it was a misclick
Maybe
or
it was a
not.
misclick. Maybe it was a misclick, but it doesn't feel like. So we end up taking the 2 points regardless here because we do get the Executor back to the active spot. But why? Would we?
I mean,
I
it was
don't.
a five-headed play. They wasted the Sabrina too. I mean, this is
True.
five-headed.
True. Yeah, we got the Sabrina. One of the Sabrinas out. There is two in this list, but yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think that either was a misclick or just kind of forgot. But either
Yeah.
way, it looks like we're in a scenario where Giovanni could completely change this entire game. You got to wonder if the grass player here has they're going to have a hard time getting out of the active because there's no leaf. Wow. Super punishing.
Ouch. Yeah, for real. And then the question's gonna be: is does the syllabi hit 50%?
The question that I have there is like, what's the hesitation on ripping that Giovanni? Like, isn't it pretty
Yeah.
much automatic? You just rip the Giovanni and say, hey, if you flip, 50%, you win. I mean, there's not much I can do about that.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed.
So there's one.
Oh, they got it though. Ouch.
All right.
And more. And more. But
The overkill.
a little bit of overkill, yeah. I'm gonna reset the scoreboard here.
So, okay, the red card there arguably slowed down the game enough for the Mewtwo player to get back into it. However, they're unable to pivot out of the active and deny that prize. You could argue that in this deck list there should be one leaf and one X speed, and if that was the case and they had the leaf, they would have been able to get out of the active a little bit easier. But the way that they played that game, there's yeah, it's hard to say that there was anything that they could have done differently, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. Let's see
And
here.
here we go again, where Superior just never touches the board, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't seem to behind some of these Executors. Executor is really able to stall out enough time for Celebi to get powered up, and then, I mean, when you only need to hit two, it's still a 66% chance, right, that you're hitting 2 to 3 to 4 from 4 coins. Why does it matter if we have 8? Some people could say. Some people could say.
So here we go. Mewtwo heads up, going into a Celebi and a Celebi on the bench. And let's see how this goes. There's the one of Mythical Slab, turn 1, both games.
Yeah.
Pokeball. So
Pokeball.
they're shuffling that card that they just put at the bottom, shuffling it again. So it's no longer 100% to be at the bottom of the deck. Ralt's coming down on the bench, and Mewtwo starting to charge up. And there's the turn 1 red card.
I really wholly disagree with this one. I'm sorry. But it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
If they had execute, or if they had Snivy, it would be on the bench. And now they have both. That being said, they had the evolutions, right? They had, I saw at least Superior in hand. I think I saw Executor as well, which obviously got re-put back in the deck. But
Yeah, looking at the replay, they had double Executor, double Superior, and then I believe Erica in their hand.
still, you can always red card after they get the Execute. You can
And you
also.
might have even gotten more value if they played a research. Yeah, true.
Yeah. There's Servine now as well.
So what do you do here? Do you attach to the Celebi and go in? It looks like that's the case.
Yeah, I think you kind of think it's the play, because there's no way that your Celebi gets knocked out here. They definitely don't have like bench snipe in this deck.
Punished.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Well, we have potential for Superior to make an appearance if it comes down, and that could honestly change this game too, because you're looking at potential of 6 coin flips. But looking across the table, you see that Mew EX on the bench, you see the Ralts on the bench. You wonder if Curly is going to come down and really start a clock. Okay. So they may be respecting the Superior here, and that's why you're seeing this pivot.
Yeah, it looks like it. So we're going back to Mew here, who I guess can do 20, but we're not actually even doing the 20. Okay. We're just going to power up Mewtwo on the bench.
You know, I was thinking if you do 20 damage there and put the Celebi at 60, you could potentially Giovanni and knock out the Celebi, you know, assuming no Erica. But in this case, I mean, you're in a tough spot because you almost don't want to overcommit to the Celebi in the active.
Agreed.
Because it's just going to get KO'd next turn potentially.
Yeah, if they have an X speed, like it's just game over.
Well, they use 2, and there's no more pivot cards left for Mewtwo. So that is the good point, or the good part.
I did miss the second one. That's my bad. Let's see here. Yeah, so I guess we can't get KO'd this turn. Unless you knock out Mew EX. If you knock out Mew EX, it's like, okay, retreating. Execute?
So they're,
okay.
I think they're playing into the fact that there is no more pivot cards.
Seems like it. But it doesn't even matter if there's no pivot cards. You could just retreat here and KO the Execute. It's 50 health.
And if I'm the Mewtwo player, that's probably what I do.
Same. Like,
yeah, I'll push back on that actually. The only reason why I wouldn't do that is if I had Gardevoir in hand. If I have Gardevoir in hand, I can just be patient and attach to the Mew and hit for 20.
Yeah, also true. Also true for sure. Yeah, we can just go on and just hit for 20 for now. Not the biggest deal. And the 20 does mean no Giovanni would be needed if it does turn into an Executor EX.
So if you leave this Execute in the active and you don't evolve it, you're risking the chance of shortening the game. But they find the Executor EX because that's obviously well planned.
Yeah, very nicely planned. Pokeball.
They have one basic left. Yeah, that's the last basic in the deck, I believe.
Yeah, I do think so as well. Yeah, this is that one Snivy list. So there should be no other basics now.
So if they've used both Pokeballs, they got full value out of them. If they didn't use both Pokeballs, they actually have one dead draw in their deck, which could play a factor down the line. You know, you draw a dead card on a turn that it may matter, but we'll see. Heads is huge.
Yeah. 50 health left. I mean, with the Giovanni... Wait, no, we don't run Giovanni in this one. It's the Sabrina that we swapped the Snivy out for.
All right, a research of their own. Here we go. Is there a Gardevoir? Is there another Mewtwo? There's the Gardevoir.
We have Gardevoir now, like you said. I mean, we could copy the Executor EX.
Yeah,
We're going to.
and you know you're just opening the door to potentially losing to Superior and Celebi, but you know so that's probably the only thing you could do is like try to deny that. But I think you're probably better off risking the Mew EX than the Mewtwo because the Mewtwo can deal with everything on the other side of the board.
Very true, very true. Oof. And Erica's going to come down, meaning this Mew EX can't even finish off next turn.
Mm-mm. Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and try to flip heads here.
Oh, but
they
it's
don't.
tails.
Okay.
Okay. Mew EX is surviving.
So do you deny the prize here?
I think so. I think you have to just deny the prize, right? I mean, I wonder if we could find our second Mewtwo EX. We can start prepping it on the bench as well. So we're gonna Sabrina.
Well, they're not sending in the Celebi or the Snivy. Yeah, I was about to say there's no way they do that.
We do send in. Yeah, we're gonna get 5 coin flips here as the Mew EX. He only needs 3. He only needs 3. One, 2.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Okay.
Ouch.
Okay, here we go.
And that's superior.
Okay. Man, so what do you do here? You know you're gonna evolve, right? Like you don't evolve. You're gonna hide it.
Well, we don't have to now that he used red card early.
Mm-hmm. So you're just gonna try to surprise him, but I mean, honestly, it's not gonna be. It's not like it's changing.
Yeah.
The play of this Mewtwo player. There's no chance that it is.
There's
and
nothing
man,
else
that's going to be a lot of coin flips. What's the game score in this? This game has gone on so long, I forgot the game score.
Lucy is up a game. So it is 1-0 for Lucy.
Okay.
So if Lucy wins, they will take the set. So 2 points for Nox now, or sorry, yeah, Nox Million. And it's down to this coin flip. 10 coins, you just.
I was going to say use Sabrina here, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 heads no matter what. It's going to win the game.
The only difference is maybe they can't attack next turn if you miss now, right? Gardevoir needs 2 energy. They use both their X speeds unless that was the game before.
Yeah, you're right. Here. You're right.
2, 3.
Here we go.
And it's
a lot of heads.
A lot of heads, and he wanted 2 heads, 8 tails. And instead, he got 8 heads, 2 tails. So that's gonna be game, and that's gonna send us to the finals. Arcanine versus Celebi. And if I'm being honest, this is exactly what the Arcanine wanted, I think. Or would you disagree with me?
100%. Yeah, Arcanine is sitting there like rooting for the grass deck. You know 100%. What I mean? They've got their palms out and everything.
Everything. I'm gonna let the finals know they can start, and then we will hop into their game. Do you have an opinion of which point of view we watch? Or yeah, which point of view we watch?
Yeah. Hey, you want to check out from the fire point of view since they're probably at a little bit of a disadvantage?
Yeah, let's do that. So it's going to be.
Oops, I should have said the grass is at the disadvantage, but it's okay. We'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Wait, which one do you want to watch? I'm never either.
Let's go for the grass point of view since they're at the disadvantage.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're already here, so we don't even have to move.
Okay. So I've got both decks up here. So apparently this grass player cannot get away from red card because again they're going up against another opponent playing red card.
Oh, I'm sure they're not happy about that.
Yeah, hey, I mean, they just won 2 games in a row where they got red carded turn 1, so hey, maybe they're okay with it.
Yeah, true.
But looking at this, I think Executor EX is going to be forced to carry this game. If there's a realistic chance of winning, and then on the other point of view, you need to find Arcanine. If you can find
Yeah.
Arcanine, you can probably find a path to victory.
Agreed. I'm just gonna quickly get everything set up for when they're ready. And we should be getting into this. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, if Celebi can get set up, Celebi can KO an Arcanine. Celebi can KO an Arcanine if it can get set up. So we'll have to see here.
Yeah, ideally for the grass player, you get an early Executor so that way you have time to start chipping away at the Moltres and building up Celebi EX. The cherry on the top would be finding Superior's line. And then on the other side, if you're the fire player here, you're hoping to find Moltres and hopefully finding another basic fire Pokemon to start attaching energy to very early. Because the longer this game goes, the more chances that Executor EX pops up, and the more chances that, even though it's a one of Snivy, that Superior ends up showing up, giving that Celebi a chance to one-shot everything in the fire deck.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. Let's see here. Just letting them get into their game. They sent a cute cat emote, so I sent it back in the chat. For some reason,
Historically, I was just going to say, historically, it looks like it's a 33% win rate for the grass deck.
Ouch.
Going into Arcanine Moltres. So they got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, that is. They're really going to need to figure out what to do if that's the case.
Yeah, it like I said, Executor is going to be key. If there's no Executor, you better be flipping a lot of heads because it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I'm going to get straight into it. It is up on screen. Okay, so we are starting going first with the Celebi player. Probably not what they want. Probably not what they want. That being said, with no Moltres in sight, they could be in a happy mood. We do have 2 Executes, but we don't see a Celebi just yet. Doesn't matter for the first energy, but it's going to matter for every energy afterwards.
So personally, I love this play. I remember making a video within like the first week of Pokemon Pocket when we all moved to New Zealand about not always using Professor's Research turn 1 because it's not progressing your game state. Right here, you see the grass player choose because they drew the research for turn, I believe. So you saw it pop up on the screen. But they refused to play the Professor's Research, respecting the red card and understanding, hey, there's not really any reason for me to play this. It's not going to advance my game state. I can't even attach an energy to Celebi. And, granted, you could say, hey, they could find their one of Snivy, but they're just saying, hey, let me hold on. Next turn, I rip it, hopefully draw Executor EX and start, that early pressure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would agree with that. The days when we all lived in New Zealand. Those were great days.
I loved it.
Yeah, the weather was fantastic. Sign me up.
It was a pretty cheap flight,
Yeah, actually, I think it was like $5.99 a month. Very, very, very cheap vacation. That being said, though, I definitely agree. I mean, it's almost like the 3 steps ahead. It's like, do you research? Because you may not get research if they red card you. But if you research, they could red card you. But if they red card me, I'll have a higher chance of hitting research. Like it's the step in front of the step in front of the step. So they decide to keep it, and they do use it on their turn too. But let's see what Gato decides to do.
Yeah, I mean they're fishing for Executor EX. They gave it their best shot. Now, hey, their hand is pretty bricky. So seeing a red card wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. However, it doesn't matter. You need to find Executor EX ASAP. Like
100%.
that's what matters.
Let's see if we can find it though. And But honestly, if we just keep hitting tails, does it really matter? Does it matter if we keep hitting tails? Yes, sooner or later it will matter. But for now, it won't. This is, I think, 66% chance Celebi is a Celebi. Which is going to be nice. They want to go in and start powering up that Celebi, get those energies on our little flying onion. And we'll be going there. Oh, no, I have the hiccups. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, right here, this is the window. This is the window where Executor EX could have really made a difference in this game. And I think now it's a little bit. Why did you? Chad, I have no idea what just happened, but we're gonna keep moving on, I guess. Did you see that?
He just attacked there, right? He used
Yeah,
XP and then in retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm just, yeah, I'm not really sure what that was. It might have been a misclick, what I was gonna guess. Cause it's not like you want to go back to Celebi in any world. Maybe they don't think they'll need X speed, right? And so there is this thing with red card, right? Where if you don't think you will need a card later, you should use it at any time. Because if it won't affect it, then you have a higher chance of hitting the cards you need when you get red carded. So there's like some world where that's why they're using the X speed now. That being said, I'm not really sure if they would not need it. They could have also changed their mind, but maybe they're still playing around red card? I don't know. This time we actually do retreat.
Yeah, drawing the second one right there kind of bails them out because they save an energy. Oh my gosh. All right.
And that's the first 2 points for Lucy. We had six tails for Gato. Well, 8 tails for Gato and 1 heads and two heads for Lucy.
Yeah, so Arcanine would probably be very close to GG.
Agreed. And
Yeah,
it comes down. Ouch. I don't think there's a play around this. I mean, maybe you hit Executor EX next turn. He never hit Sabrina. You hit 2 heads in a row and you call it game, but I don't think that we'll have to see.
I mean, best case, you research into 2 Executor EXs.
Yeah.
Like
we could do it. We could do it.
That's probably the best case right here.
I think it's like the only chance, and you need to hit like 2 heads in a row. Research Executor EX, Executor EX. Okay, research.
Oh
Executor
my.
EX, Executor EX. I've been known to call cards. I didn't though. Not this time. Not this time. And that's a concede.
I mean, it's hard to say that didn't go as expected, but that pretty much went about as expected as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
No Executor EX, hard to win.
We had like a moment where we were like, "Oh, we have this," and then we did not. We did not have this.
Yeah, I mean, you just fished through like 14, maybe 13 cards of your deck and didn't find Executor EX, so a little bit unlucky. Because you start counting all the cards that they just went through. I mean, they had to have maybe 6 or 5 cards left in deck and still couldn't find Executor. So that's also a tough break.
Bad luck there. Bad luck there. I would love to see if we'll get more of like consistency / draw cards with this next set. Especially since we saw them like start doing it with Mythical Slab and in Mysterious Island. Obviously, they're looking to do it, even though they only did it for Psychic. So I wonder if we'll see other items that will help players find their different mons. We are going to go on and get started into our game 2. Gato is officially up 1. And we're... I don't know if Snivy's the worst to start, but I think that there's other cards we would have liked to start with here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to come down to, can you find Executor? I mean, it's going to be repetitive for the people watching and listening, but I mean, that's really what you're looking for here. So there's the execute off the Pokeball.
That's execute.
And they're going to just go ahead and pivot out. Okay,
Yep,
here we
straight
go.
to
So
execute 20 damage onto that uh Growlithe. Um Now we just want to
if
hit
you
that
have the red
Executor.
card, if you have the red card right here, you rip it, right? I mean, you have to rip it with what they just signaled.
I think if I have another basic, I don't. If I and like I have a way to get to Moltres inactive, I don't. Because I just think they also wouldn't want to leave Snivy in the active spot. In general, that's one thing I would feel. Like they're gonna want to get Snivy. They only run one Snivy. It's not like they can risk their Snivy getting KO'd. It's definitely. I definitely. It was a signal, but it'd be one of those moments where like, is it a signal that I actually like? I have X speed. I'm going to start powering up this Arcanine. Do I need to do it? Uh, and is it a signal or is it the fact that a single Snivy means it has to be protected at all costs? I don't know.
That's a great point. You know, I'm sitting here looking at that professor's research in the graveyard slash discard pile. You know, seeing how they were very quick to put in this execute, but I don't. You know, it might be that they just don't even have it, honestly.
Yeah.
But you know, man, in that situation, I probably fire it and just say, hey, if you got it, you got it. You know, but
Yeah.
it looks like
Executor
Executor
comes
EX
down.
is, yeah, here it is. Grass
Okay.
player's favorite tree. I mean, it's going to make an appearance in flip heads. Here we go.
Yep. Good heads for them. That's going to put them at 60 health. Very in range to being a 2-hit KO onto this Moltres next turn.
Only, so there is 2 potions left, or excuse me, there's 2 potions in the deck. Only 1 is left. Unfortunately, it's not going to be extremely useful because it's still going to leave you in range of being KO'd. Best case scenario, you have Arcanine and X speed right here.
So Leaf. I think that means we have Arcanine.
Yeah, it's got.
Oh.
Oh wow.
I guess there's 2 energies on the Growlithe. You're just like, I'm not giving a point.
Yeah, the leaf makes sense because you want to make sure you keep that Moltres in your back pocket to potentially finish something off with that grass weakness. Looking at the grass player here, this Celebi coming down and getting an energy is going to be very, very tasty. Sabrina also going to be very tasty. Arguably, you know, sequencing right there, use Sabrina first before giving away information. However, I don't think it changes anything from the fire player's point of view. You're just going to send in the Moltres.
Yeah, agreed there.
So here we go. Heads, this game gets a little bit
Ooh.
closer to being an upset, and that's the case.
Yep, that is going to be 2 points for Lucy here. Exactly what Lucy wants, but for Gato, who's going to be wanting to close out this game, no.
And that is the one and only Sabrina. So there's no more Sabrina left for the grass player. It is going to be strictly trying to get a superior online with Celebi or just chipping away at this Mute EX. Still desperately searching for the Arcanine for the fire player. And it looks like instead of an Arcanine, they found the Growlithe.
Yeah.
So powering up the Moltres, man, every turn that goes by without Arcanine hitting the board, the game just shifts a little bit closer to the grass player. So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we have not seen many game 3s and finals. So we'll have to see if that's what we're going to see today because Lucy is down a point right now. Gato got last game. Okay, we hit tails here.
oh, you know the crowd wants game 3. The crowd wants this to be as close as possible. So you know what they're thinking right now.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed, agreed. So, I mean, okay,
Oh,
Arcanine arrives. Arcanine arrives. We can hand attach retreat, but do we max, what, 160?
here's the game. I mean, this is the game right here. If Snivy can be, or excuse me, a Servine can come down this coming turn. The grass player is going to have a great shot to to steal this game. Okay, here we go.
Let's see.
Here
We
we
have
go.
research.
Yeah, rip that thing. Right? There's no reason why. Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
you just
there's
go
no
in and do
reason to
it for
air.
sure. You want to get Servine. And I'll say here, Servine, this is where I red card. This is where I red card every time.
Mm-hmm.
He's used both his researches. He's been bricked from that Servine for turn after turn after turn. He's got this, like we saw it. But I'm saying he has it. I don't care what he signals to me. I think he has it, and this is where I rip the red card.
100%. Oh man, they just highlighted how many cards are in their deck too. I want to say it was like 5. So you're looking at.
Yep, and there's
Here's the red card.
Two
So you're
superiors
looking
back
at
in the deck.
10 cards in deck, 4 draws, and you have
They hit it anyway.
2 chances. Yeah,
it happens. Always still a chance that he hit it. We don't know how many cards are left in his deck.
It's 100% the correct play. I'm pretty sure they were at 10 cards after the red card. I may be miscounting, but I'm pretty sure, because if you count the trainers use, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they had 10 cards in deck.
Okay.
Because I just counted the discard pile while they popped it up, and then you count the Pokemon on board as well. So yeah, 10 cards. So they had 20% chance the first draw, and then the odds got higher.
Yeah.
So the odds are they were probably going to find it.
Odds were they're going to find it, but it's a much lower chance they find it in situations like that than having already drawn it, which 100%. Is all it is just increasing your chances of winning, and that's what games you gotta do sometimes.
So in all of that talk, we forgot to mention the retreat right there.
Yeah.
So there was a retreat back into Moltres, and it looks like they're going to try to bait out the Celebi. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to just swinging with the Executor here. Don't give them the chance to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. I think that's the right line.
Same. Does move, obviously, only needs 2 heads now for a Celebi next turn. So.
And I'm not sure if they have one more potion left. I think I might have missed the second potion.
Did we miss the second potion? We may have. If we didn't, this would definitely... No, wait. I don't know whose thing we just clicked.
Oh, that was the grass player's discard.
Also, it looks like there was only 8 cards or something. So he has 5 cards left in deck right now. So.
Okay, so it looks like it's going to come down to the Celebi coin flips. They're going to have 10 of them, though.
The things we have... Yeah, I don't know if there's even a chance for the Arcanine regardless, though, right? Like, Arcanine...
there's a world where... Yeah, I was going to say, my bad, I don't mean to cut you off. There's a world where you don't even send in the Celebi. You just keep plugging away with the Executor because the game is unlosable.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here.
They're just going to go for it. Man, this would be the worst bad beat that we've probably seen all day if they don't get these 2 heads. Oh, no. Oh, no, chat. Oh, no, chat.
Yeah, no! I love when that happens, though. That's so sad. That's so sad. That is so sad, actually.
You didn't need to risk it, but...
We did not need to risk it, but ouch. Because now the Zark... I do think you just stay with it. Gado's at 0 points. Gado's at 0 points here. There was no reason to risk it. Just keep,
Well, the game's not over, so there's the game's not over. However, it just got a lot more winnable for this Fire player. A second Arcanine could definitely help clinch this. That includes if they have a Sabrina. So there's the switch. Oh, man.
Yeah, so now we're going to knock out Celebi. We will go to 50 health. I'll say we'll go to 50 health. So we do still need, this Executor to hit heads next turn. But if
or the Celebi.
Or the Celebi. either of them to make it. But odds are they hit one heads. Odds are they hit one heads here still, and go into game 3.
That's brutal, man.
That is brutal. That's so brutal, honestly.
Okay.
Okay, they hit it, and they win still.
And the coin taketh away. I think I said that backwards. Either way, okay, we've got game 3, chat. Game 3 hype. Let's
Game 3
go.
hype. Let's go.
Wow. Oh man.
That was something.
What a treat for you on a Sunday. The last Ursiiday tournament for the Apex and Mythical Island format. We've got an absolute banger for you right here on the screen, man. Here it goes. If we see Executor EX early again, there's the window. But all you can ask for as the grass player at a disadvantage is a game 3. Let it go. All on the line right here.
Let's see. And we're going second for Lucy here. Lucy's going to be going second, which means they'll get that energy advantage. They are starting with Execute. So let's see here. I think one thing that's really interesting, though, with the Charmander version of this deck, obviously not the Growlithe, is that Charmander can one-shot Executes. That being said, we do have two. We have 2 Executes down here. Wouldn't matter as much. But when you just go up against the one Execute, the one thing that I hate when I do is when I'm doing Charizard, I'll be like autopilot, especially the first couple of turns. I'll retreat to my Moltres and then be like, wait, I just had game. But yeah, and we draw Executor.
Oh, buckle your seatbelts in, chat.
We can't
and the one-off Snivy.
But yep, there's our Snivy. And next turn, that could be a KO. I mean, well, if we don't retreat back.
Yo, this is incredible. I mean, what we are seeing is the underdog getting a chance, and it's all thankful to the Mighty Tree Executor EX. Here we go, chat. I mean, this is RC. I can't believe what we're watching right now.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see this game play out. We do retreat back. We're playing respectful of the Executor this game. Playing respectful of the Executor this game. So
I love it, by the way. Somebody in the chat said scripted game. This is all script, y'all. We've spoke to the devs. We've scripted this to be a game 3 that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Confirmed.
Yeah, actually, my uncle works at Pokemon, and I said, okay, well, this is the moment. I need 9 tails. I will say, last time I made this joke, I called out heads. Like I called out every single heads and tails of a EV flip. So it's true. I'm telling you guys, my uncle works for Pokemon.
That's crazy. Your uncle works there. My uncle works there. I wonder if they know each other.
I bet they do. That's why they're really listening. It's not just one person who's telling them what to do. It's both our uncles. The uncle power.
Here we go. I mean, if this heads happens, oh man. Okay, tails. Okay. So what is the line here? The line is finding another Executor EX, or it's finding. Yeah, I think that's the only line, right? I mean, because double Erica is not going to save you.
Yeah, it's really not.
And here's the thing: even if you find another Executor EX, you're still at risk of Sabrina, which the Fire player is packing one of. So
let's see here. We do it Celebi now. And we're probably gonna be looking for Servine shortly here. But we can
you power up the Celebi and pray you hit heads or double heads. That's all you can do. Here we go.
Agreed.
I mean, if you would have hit heads right there, obviously the game becomes drastically different because then Celebi can win the game with just one heads. But you're going to need double heads. Again, that's in this matchup, that's the best you can ask for. I mean, you're at a type disadvantage. Arcanine just destroys your deck. You know, this is about as good as it gets.
100%. This is. Sure, we don't retreat here. I don't think we retreat. Pat found us out. We're actually cousins.
So I don't think you retreat. I think you just make them have double heads. I think you make them have it.
The thing is, they don't even need double heads then, right? You'll be at 50. The Celebi only needs to hit 1 heads.
Oh yeah, you need a potion.
Yeah.
The recoil.
The recoil, it would not be good.
Yeah, you need potion. Yep.
And
Here
we
we
go
go,
for
chat.
it though. And we don't have it. I mean, if he missed 7, if he hit 7 tails in a row earlier, he could do it again. He could
It's
do it
gonna come
again.
down to this, chat.
Oi.
Yeah, there's no way you retreat because of the one Sabrina chance. You take your 50-50 right here.
Oh,
Here we
yeah.
go. Oh!
Oh! We got the Arcanine. Okay, we knocked out the Arcanine.
Oh!
Oh. 2 points now for Lucy. But they still have a while before they can knock out a Moltres. Potentially.
But hey, the thing is here, there's no Growlithe on the bench, which means your Executor is going to be able to attack like 3 times on top of your Celebi. I mean, this game has quickly turned for the grass player with that 50-50 coin flip. Unbelievable.
Let's see here.
Oh my gosh. They actually might pull this off.
Okay. 1, 2. Okay, we have 2 energies now. That's a fully powered up Moltres on the bench. Turbine appears.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking would happen. Yep, oh, I don't know about using 2. Yeah, they're just yeah, don't do that, chat. Don't do that at home.
Okay. We have 1. That's okay. We're gonna retreat. We're gonna retreat. So who even cares what damage gets put onto this?
Yeah,
Moltres?
that probably was the only way that you're letting this fire deck back in the game here. I would not have done that at all, but you know, hey, respect.
Okay.
I'm actually just I'm kind of shocked.
Oh no, Nat just started playing. Uh-oh.
Cuz oh man.
Yeah.
I guess they're burning the EX speeds because of red card, but they could have just sent out Executor EX and been just in good a position.
I think we still kind of should have put the Executor EX out. Like,
And here you retreat 9 times out of 10.
You have to. We not?
Oh my! This person
we're not doing
is
the same coin flip. 1, 2. Oh. Okay, he hit it, and that's gonna be a win for Lucy. But he might not have hit it. I don't know, man. I would not take that. I would not.
Strictly for entertainment purposes.
Strictly for entertainment purposes. Whew. Wow. Okay. That was an interesting game.
I'm blown away by that late game decision making, but you can't deny it. The overcoming the type disadvantage, incredible. Executor EX hard carries that matchup. Wow.
Absolutely amazing by them. Crazy. And congrats, huge congrats to Lucy pulling out a reverse sweep after losing game 1 versus its literal counter. I mean, what was it? Only a 33% win rate against Arcanine, and they took game 2 and game 3. Like, the immense pressure that Lucy must have been under in those final 2 games. I think I would have choked, but absolutely insane gameplay. Not sure I completely agree with every play, but like, that's okay. I'm not the one in the finals. I'm not the one betting the money out there. So good for Lucy, and it paid off. It paid off.
Hey, they
Absolutely insane.
wanted to give us a show, and we were thoroughly entertained. Are you not entertained, chat? Wow.
Honestly, fantastic job by them. Just crazy and huge congrats to them. Wowza. I do want to give another huge shout out to Lucy. What a great job. Absolutely. We were on the edge of our seat the whole time with those coin flips. So thank you to Lucy. Thank you to Gato as well for streaming their both of them streamed their matches. Thank you for playing in our finals. Thank you for playing in our tournament. Thank you and congrats on that second and first place. Absolutely insane and a great way to close out Mystical Island for them. And honestly, I think these two decks are kind of I don't say like an ironic end to Mystical Island, but Arcanine EX with Moltres was not very good pre Mystical Island, in my opinion. It had very little chance against Mewtwo. And then Mew EX with Mystical Island brings the deck not only out of the graveyard, but literally into second place. Like, hello? And then Lucy's deck is completely Mystical Island. So awesome turnout for this this last finals, and wow, I cannot wait to see what we see next week. A whole new set. Whew.
What an incredible turn of events from losing game one to finding, Executor EX early in both game 2 and 3. And Mythical Island, this meta, it was very entertaining seeing Grass start off as kind of, a new fun deck, and ending this meta with back-to-back wins in the largest Pokemon TCG Pocket tournament that is hosted. I mean, you talk about what an incredible story for that deck. I think that this deck was probably something that I could see myself playing compared to the other list that we saw win last week. But man, what an incredible way to wrap up the Mythical Island meta with the Ursiiday tournament.
What an awesome time. I'm so glad that this was our last one, and I had so much fun with that. That being said, huge shout out to you, NDB. Thank you so much for showing up and co-casting with us today. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Absolutely awesome, and I had so much fun co-casting with you. So huge shout out to our co-caster. You guys, make sure that you check out his content. He is a fantastic Home Pocket content creator. He does YouTube, he does Twitch, and obviously he has his Twitter as well, or X, I guess I call it now.
I do.
Yeah, so you guys can check him out all over there. Huge shout out again to NVB. And with that, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our players, obviously to Lucy and Gato for getting into the finals, but every single player is what makes this, such a fantastic competitive scene. We've carried through an entire set one now, and traditionally at the end of an expansion or things like that, you see a pretty, a downturn in players or spectating and things like that. And we still had 1,500 players this week. Like, absolutely insane. I think, and I really hope that every single competitor out there makes sure to give themselves a good old pat on the back. Like, you guys showed up for set one. You guys showed up all throughout set one, from the beginning of it to the end of it. And thank you guys so much for making this competitive scene really, honestly, what it is, because it could not be without our competitive players. I also do want to give a huge shout out to all of our viewers as well. Our viewers really help out the scene. It helps us find sponsors like XP Collect, who is so awesome for putting up their 400 USD prize pool all throughout set one. In what is a really, really budding and early competitive scene, that is so awesome that they would be willing to do that for us and our whole crew. And that is because of our viewers. Thank you everyone who's shown up through Ursiiday week 1 to Ursiiday week 13 now. Absolutely insane. Again, like, I hope everyone here recognizes, like, the competitive scene that we've all grown together over the last, almost, 3 months, has been insane, and it's only because of each and every one of you guys. It is only possible with you guys. I hope every one of you guys gives yourselves a huge, 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 huge pat on the back, because we couldn't do it without you. We do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. Yeah, exactly. It's a group effort, but we do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor again. And make sure that if you are interested in Pokemon pre-orders, that you check out that phone number. But absolutely insane. Thank you again, NBB, for showing up for our stream today. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to our competitors. Huge shout out to Lucy, obviously, for that first place. And also, huge shout out to our judges, because it is our judge crew who has really helped this scene along as well. I wouldn't be able to cast it. NBB and I would not be able to do the casting that we do or the broadcast that we're doing today without all of our judges. And in a new competitive scene, like, you don't know what you're gonna run into. You know, like, we're figuring it out as we go. And huge shout out to our judges who are putting in about 15 hours a week just in judging, and a lot of them don't even play in the tournament during the tournament hours. So absolutely huge dedication to them, and I do want to give a huge shout out to the judges, to the mod team, to the entire community, both the spectators and the competitors, to all the people who have come this set to commentate. That includes NBB, that includes Raven HS, that includes Spraggles, that includes Guest Gaming, that includes Alo from Frog X. We've all really come together and created this awesome competitive scene. And I'm just really, 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 really proud of us. And I hope you guys recognize what a huge feat this is. So with that, I am trying to quickly find... I try to raid people who played in the tournament. But I think everyone is done with their games, it looks like. So maybe there's one person. So I will try to raid them. But with that, guys, I think we are going to be ending here. I do want to give a huge shout out again to NBB. Fantastic content creators. Anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Hey, thank you, Ursi, for giving me the opportunity to come back on here. Shout out to all the viewers and the competitors and the judges and obviously the sponsor. Thank you guys for making this game what it is. I can't wait for the next weekend in the next set.
Honestly, I'm so excited. I hope it's coming across my excitement, because I love seeing what people make and what we all grown together. Not to get teary-eyed. I'm someone who cries very easily, so I'm gonna try not to cry on stream because I feel really happy with everyone right now. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'm gonna quickly set up a raid. But with that, guys, if you are interested in Pokemon content, I know NBB does YouTube and posts fairly. I mean, how often on YouTube do you post?
Oh, like anywhere from like 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, so you can always check out his stuff on YouTube. I also stream every single day of the week. Outside of the tournaments on the weekend, I also do my own content during the week where we play in a lot of different tournaments, we do different things like that. So make sure if you're interested in Pokemon Pocket content, you can check out his YouTube or Twitter. You can check out my Twitch. He also does stream on Twitch. And then if you're interested in other types of content, I also do post on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube sometimes. I'm not great about it. And make sure to go sponsor. But if you're interested in joining the community, guys, we have a really awesome and active community that we would love for you to be a part of. Really fun Discord. And if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. So I'm going to start setting up that raid. I try to do everything first because I'm really bad about this delay. I cannot figure out how to end stream with it. So
I'm ready to see you waving for 5 minutes.
Honestly, that's what's going to happen again. So I'm going to send on over that raid, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. And for those who are subbed to the Twitch channel or a member on YouTube, we do have that fun hangout tonight at 7:30 p.m. EST if you want to be there. So I'm going to send y'all on over. Bye-bye. Wait, I think I wasn't supposed to raid that early. I don't really remember.